Hey, what's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
How are you?
Confused?
I got a good camera.
I see that.
Clearly, it's not quite the right angle yet, but I'm not going to worry about that for the show right now.
I think it's pretty great. I can read the sticker on your mic.
Hell yeah. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
you look great. This is wild.
Like $80 on Amazon, bro.
Kiss each other. Kiss.
Dude, I'm so excited for this show today.
Yeah?
Dude, you're gonna freak out. It's gonna be great.
Do you have a surprise for me, or you're just excited?
I have a surprise for you.
Me?
Not just the camera. Yeah.
Today?
Yeah. Today.
What?
Well, you want to do it now?
No. Well,
No, let's not do it yet. We'll do it when we start the audio recording. Or whenever, but I want it to be on the regular show too, not just for the patrons.
Yeah.
All right.
I was finishing this pizza.
Nice. What kind of pizza?
Boomba's pizza.
Boombas. Never heard of it.
It's left over from the weekend. It's good. Natasha asked me to put it in the air fryer. I was like, no. Cold pizza's delicious.
Cold pizza's awesome.
Wow.
Although air fryer pizza reheated is the best way.
This is the best way.
If you're gonna reheat it.
Yeah.
It's better than microwave by far. So.
Yeah. By far.
By far.
I'm gonna stop chewing into the microphone.
Okay. Make this more. That's all right.
I don't think I have any new sounds.
Oh, I forgot my hat. I gotta get my hat.
Oh, get your hat.
Actually, nah, I'm gonna leave it off this time.
Hatless.
Hatless. We'll go hatless.
Hatless shrug.
I buzzed my head recently, so it's not bad.
Oh, this is me.
You know what I've noticed recently as I've been paying more attention because we're doing video is I fidget a lot and you sit really still, which it seems like it should be the opposite given our personality.
I don't feel like I sit still.
You sit still, dude. I'm always moving around. I don't know how to sit still.
I'm just trying to find more.
More what? Pizza?
Sounds.
Oh.
More pizza.
CNN investigation contradicts IDF's account of deadly aid delivery. Oh. Did you see? I forgot to talk about it on the show. I think it was last week. The Post had a report that not only did we tell Russia there was an imminent ISIS attack, we actually told them the venue as a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, like the UEFA championship game or something, or the Premier League championship, something like that, is believed target. See,
really? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Madrid, I think, is preparing for it.
That would, I mean, there's so many thousands of people.
I feel like that'd be really tough to pull off.
Yeah. That's like a fucking Batman movie level shit right there.
Yeah, it is. It'd be interesting how they tried to do it. I mean, you're not like getting it through the metal detectors, I don't think. But maybe you could get it through with contract workers prior to and stash things.
Yeah. I mean, they have dogs.
Pretty amazing what you can do. Like,
yeah. I mean, they have dogs and stuff to like sniff that stuff out.
Sure. But like, I work at airports all the time. And, you know, like,
you'd be surprised at kind of shit.
I mean, they walk me past security and then I go into the terminal and then I go down to the tarmac and I work on like the coolers that are right below the terminals and the jetway and everything.
Yeah.
And like, I could have left something there and then somebody else at another time could have retrieved it. I'm not saying I did. I mean, Jesus,
right.
I need a conversation with law enforcement. I'm just saying that's a theory, you know?
Didn't you have a story of somebody you worked with at some point having to go on a like a military facility or something they weren't expecting to have to, and then realize they had okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't.
Not me. It's the guy I knew.
Schmustin.
Yeah, he was halfway through a job and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that anymore."
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think Mike's in the Patreon, so that's cool. What's up, Big Mike? Shout out to Big Mike.
Big Mike
Ugh.
holding down Capitol Hill for us.
I burp into the microphone for the Patreon. It's for the Patreon.
I was listening to Brido's show. They were talking about they were doing the 50s song tournament, and
It was
one was like, "That sounds like somebody farted into a microphone."
Yeah, I didn't get that. I guess maybe because I didn't hear the song.
Yeah, I don't know. I
kept
didn't
falling
quite
back
get
to it, and it made me.
it. It was
laugh.
just a funny,
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to say. Yeah,
It's a funny thing to say, like
the ultimate load.
when Alan said that, or when I said this. Mexicans are alcoholics. That was out of context. Not something I.
Did you clip that, or did somebody else clip that for you?
James sent that in.
I
He didn't say
figured.
anything from the last show, thank God.
Well, there were some
There were some bad ones.
quality drops in that
Yeah.
one.
I've read he may have actually killed more people than Hitler.
Yeah.
Kiss each other. Kiss. Why?
I already had this.
It's the ultimate load.
Yeah, it was already in. There.
Oh,
All right.
I have a funny picture from the after the game last week, where Ryan's like kissing, like pecking on my cheek.
Oh.
It's pretty amusing.
Is it? And you're like,
Kiss each other. Kiss.
Kiss.
We'd had a few. Here, I'll send it to you. I've
Okay.
never talked about Ryan before.
Wait, who were you at the game with?
Andrew, and then his buddy Ryan and his buddy
Okay.
Jeff.
Oh,
Now Ryan, I
and
consider
then you
Ryan.
did.
I consider Ryan a friend of mine as well at this point.
Yeah.
We don't hang out that often. I've never hung out with him without Andrew, but we've known each other for quite a while.
I can't get over the resolution I'm seeing your face with.
Hey, you saw me on TV last week.
That was wild. Talk about that. No, we're not talking about that.
I know. I'm definitely gonna talk about it in person life. That's all I got, actually.
Okay.
Well, there's one other thing, but
For the show.
for the show,
Okay. Who's texting me? Oh, Alan sent me a picture.
I sent you
Hold
the
on.
picture.
Yeah. Let me look at that, and then I think I'm ready to start. You see Mount Etna's vaping? It's like blowing smoke rings and shit.
No,
Yeah, Mount Etna is like you can't see it because of the ring.
I can't
light.
see it. Yeah.
It's
Mount-
blowing tight rings, man. We get it. You vape Etna.
Mount Etna smoke rings. Oh shit!
Yeah,
It
this is
is.
a picture. Kiss each other. Kiss.
Those are tight rings. God damn.
I know, right? Like that was a thing for a little bit. Remember when people would like
Oh yeah.
post videos of them doing vape tricks?
So stupid.
Stupid culture.
When they make fun of us Americans, there's reasons.
Sometimes we deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an opening sound, but before that,
Mhm.
first,
But
we
first.
want to say as podcasters,
Like that guy in the intelligence always says.
you got to remember how do podcasters walk into a room.
But first.
But first, I have a
But
game.
first.
I have a game.
Ooh. Okay.
This is more of like a PSA for our listening audience. So don't answer. Bonus points if you can say what the acronym stands for. Okay, I should probably pull that up since I can't remember. Come on now. Okay. All right. So don't answer.
Okay.
But do you know what Be Fast is an acronym for? I'm going to give you 4 options. So there's an acronym, Be Fast, BEFAST. It's an acronym for something medical.
I know it's for.
Shut up, Alan.
Okay.
Is it A,
Mhm.
signs of a heart attack? Don't answer.
Okay, I won't answer.
B, signs of low blood sugar.
Okay.
C, signs of HIV. D, signs of a stroke. Now, before you say which one you think it is, which ones you say it's not?
Well, I think C is the funniest one, but
Would you say it's not?
it's not that one.
It's not
If you
what?
ask me what the
It's not
funniest
what?
answer would be,
Not what?
it's not HIV.
It's not what?
AIDS.
It's not A? Or it's not which letter is it not?
Oh, it's C.
What did you say it better?
It's not C.
I got you.
Not C.
I got you again, motherfucker. No, of course not. What's B fast? What's that have to do with?
It's the signs of a stroke.
Yes. Okay. So bonus points, Alan? Do you know what B fast stands for? See, my sign of a stroke is that I can't remember what B fast is.
I know there's balance.
Okay.
There's eyes.
Yep. The dogs aren't liking this, by the way.
The fuck does F stand for?
Oh, come on. It's similar to eyes.
Face? Okay. Ass. No, I don't remember what
no. Okay. S. Dogs are so upset with this spell.
I can tell.
Arms, speech, and time.
Speech and time.
Balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time.
Okay, you're right. Yes.
Time being critical. Get yourself to a doctor if you have. It's fine to find out that you were okay the whole time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But the longer that thing goes, the more potential you have for brain damage, essentially,
Yes,
right?
permanent.
Without treatment. Yeah.
If you're lucky, right? Okay, I'm not going to hit the chime again at all because
the dogs are freaking the fuck out.
Yeah,
we are recording the audio side, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to share something. I have a video for you. We'll present this video to start the show. Okay. I think we're going to come back for the rest of this video later in the Trump segment. We haven't done this before, where we start a video and finish it later in the show.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Are you ready, America? What's this about? Why isn't it playing?
I can't hear it.
It's not your fault.
I can see it.
I know.
And you turned your camera off.
I hit play and it glitched. I didn't do anything. Why does it not like me?
I don't know. There you are.
I know. I've been here.
Been here the whole time.
Can I start the show?
Let's do it.
All right.
Is Donald Trump on Ozempic? The latest pictures of a very slim-looking Donald Trump has created a lot of buzz. So did he actually lose weight naturally or not? Here's more.
Y'all let me in this damn house.
India today.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
All right, you ready?
I am ready. Are you recording?
Just don't lose that dump. Yes. All right. So you want to start a show?
Let's start a show.
That podcast is filling your head with garbage.
No offense taken there.
Well, it sounds like none taken.
Ask your mama, she'll say the same thing. I got all the ways, I just ain't got the means. Boom.
Nice and soft. It's episode number 354 of Not Taken, the internet's only debate and current events show with your hosts Dustin and Alan, two political nomads from two different worlds. Shout out Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band for the use of their song Ways and Means for intro music. Thank you for joining us. The time of this recording, it is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. It's a great day for America. We are two coastal elites coming to you from the shores of the mighty Cumberland in Madison, Tennessee, all the way to the Pacific waters of El Cerrito, California. Here to recap another week, sharing way too much of our tragic personal lives. Throw into current events. Talking about that too. Both of those things, though. Promise. And, you know what else we're doing? We're taking a sledgehammer to the culture war echo chambers. Please subscribe right now wherever you're listening to this. Real G is subscribe over on Patreon. Shout out to Young Thrash Lad, our newest Patreon member. Buddy, welcome to the
Hell
show.
yeah. Welcome,
Nice.
Crash.
I got distracted with a personal shout out. What else do I say here? Okay, so if you want to join the Patreon, you can go over to trumpgags.com. You can find us under Patreon and look for None Taken, find the zebra logo. Just go to trumpgags.com unless you're like a snowflake and you can't handle it. And if so there's 3 levels to sign up at. There's a $3 level, a $9 level, and an $18 level. Sign up for the $18 level, you get one of these in the mail.
Hell yeah.
Culture War Veteran t-shirt with the Culture War Veteran logo. Very happy with how it came out. It's the logo is the perfect size, and the back is good too. See, NT, PNC, None Taken, Nomad Collective. Yeah, but I couldn't be happier with how this looks. Just thrilled by it in person. I was always nervous whenever we put a new product up and I haven't got one in the mail yet. That I'm like, fuck, there better not be some weird thing with the printing or
right
logo.
Came out good.
Came out perfect, man. I couldn't be happier with it. You guys, thank you guys for supporting us, getting the shirts there. Other things, Alan?
Yeah, you can go to our merch store, pre-owned buttplugs.com or fungible check that out. Also, support the people that support us. Slickitsdigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs. Slickitsdigital.com.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, before we get into personal life, I want to do a Dustin Google's up here at the front.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I want you to present a browser, just an empty browser.
All right, this better not show the autocomplete while I start typing. I'm not gonna.
I'll wait till you have it presented.
All right.
All right, you actually don't have to Google this. Just type it into the the address bar.
Well, that's the one I'm afraid of.
So, are you there? Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So type in none taken all together pod.com.
All right.
Hit it.
Should I hit enter?
Yeah, hit it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wait, this is nonetaken.com.
No, none taken pod.
Yeah, I heard you, but I'm
okay.
Big dummy. I was so worried that my fucking.
You're worried about your autocompletes. You were genuinely worried about that.
Why wouldn't I be? All right. I wasn't looking at the screen while I typed. I don't know what it showed. That's why you got to join the Patreon and know. Wait, I know this logo. Hey, it's the internet's only debate and current event show. Starring Dustin and Alan. Join our Patreon right there. Wow, you can just go to nonetakenpod.com and find all this stuff. You got the merch store. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, regular old RSS. Look at that, electric nut grinders right there. Some people were upset. Not gonna lie, our listeners who are most on the TISM,
yes,
pointed out that the electric nut grinder had a manual attachment on it, but I was also quick to respond to them. If you look, there's a cord coming out of the base of it. So I did this. I didn't. Anyways, yeah, that's there. Wow, Mel's Hole is there. Julian and Cody, Moondoggle, Mandanus. Oh, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. Slick It's Digital for all your SEO and marketing needs right there. What happens when you click on that?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, it's asking me to share something. I'm not going to. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, it opened it in a new tab. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm having a lot of fun here.
All the buttons work. Our socials on the bottom work. Everything goes where it's supposed to go. I got to tell you, dude.
This is your favorite logo, isn't it?
It is. Well, I asked you to send me a logo, and that's the one you sent me. So I was like, all right, cool.
I sent you a ton of logos.
Oh, you did? I just saw that one. I was like, oh, that's the one I like. But I can always change it. But it works on your mobile phone, your tablet, all that stuff. And I got the pricey package. So when we actually have merch, I can build us our own store. We can take credit cards. We can do all that shit. It's
and then we own our own stuff.
Yes,
like we sell.
We could even sell subscriptions through here instead of Patreon if we wanted to.
That too, but I don't know how to control that.
Yeah, I mean, it has all the like security shit and everything, so it won't get hacked. All that thing. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is so great. Alan, thank you. I don't know if you can tell how genuinely excited I am.
I I was thrilled to spring that.
I
on
was
you.
not expecting this. I was talking to the guys in the Patreon chat, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
Alan keeps asking me for logos and things. I don't really know what the fuck he's up to. I can't believe I didn't think of this. Aw, hell yeah,
dude.
Wow. This is a big
So
day. So it's nonetakenpod.com.
yep, nonetakenpod.com. Everything's there. All the links
It's
are
not,
there.
you don't even have to get a redirect for that.
No, it's all there. It's all
Uh-huh.
there. So yeah, man, dude.
Plugs go to here though.
So I bought the WordPress package, which is like a way to visually create a website as opposed to coding it. And I can do coding at some level. I'm not great at it, but I can figure it out.
Yeah, I learned in high school.
Yeah, I mean the WordPress.
I don't know if any of that's valid still.
Actually, HTML pretty much is the same.
Oh, okay.
There's new stuff, but your old stuff would still
Hey,
work.
what's going on here where I click on these dots and nothing happens?
See, so there's a couple of annoying things. So see the space at the top of the page between the logo and the top?
Uh-huh. Is that for like a header and we
It's
don't
like, yeah, and I can't fucking
and they
figure out.
won't just like delete that space.
There's no box there to delete.
You know what? We should put a banner for like our newest merch there or something.
I can do that.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's some actually really frustrating things about working with WordPress, like just getting stuff to like center correctly, not left
once you jump
justify.
around.
Sometimes it took me like hours to figure that out.
Oh my
Multiple
goodness.
YouTube
Oh my gosh,
videos.
I put so much time into this.
Dude, I put probably, I don't know, at least 12, 15 hours in.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Absolutely, dude. It's worth it. It's worth it. You know what? So I'll get right into personal life.
Okay.
All right. So I woke up Thursday morning. Thursday is hockey game day, right? I woke up Thursday morning and I'm looking at my emails and I'm seeing some strange things. Like subscriptions that I had just kind of let go. They're like, "Oh, welcome back." And I'm like, "What the fuck? How what?" Because, I was like, trying to be more responsible as far as spending since I'm, jobless still.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I'm like, what's going on? So I go look at my bank account and there's way more money in there than had been there. And I'm like, where did it was like, in Monopoly, it's like there was a banking error in your favor or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what
You
happened?
didn't tell anybody, right? You're like,
It actually freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like there was a mistake. And so it's not the hockey game. I'll get into the hockey game. But we go to the game and I'm talking to OBD, our buddy Drew. And I was like, hey, they figured out the bonus situation over there where I used to work? And he's like, yeah, it actually dropped today. And I was like, oh.
You were earned that bonus. It
I
didn't.
finished the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So I still got it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, I was so high. I was like, oh my fucking God, bro. So the next day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm buying the website. Like, invest in us, right? Because like that's what,
Aw,
hell yeah. Anyways, so hockey game. Let me get to that
that's
story.
fucking awesome, man. Congrats, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, you earned it. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
you gave your fucking life to that place, man.
It's for real. Anyways, so like a month ago, Andrew texted me. He's like, hey, my buddy's flying out from the East Coast. He's a huge hockey fan. He wants to go to a Sharks game. Are you down? I'm like, hell yeah, dude, I'm down. So he's like, all right. So he figured out the date and he's like, hey, my buddy's buying us the tickets. He said it's on him. And I was like, cool. He's like, I think he got pretty good seats. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. So I get down there. After we do the show, I immediately left, drove to San Jose. Actually, traffic wasn't that bad. I got there pretty fast.
It is kind of crazy how quickly you can get to San Jose, like when everything works out for you.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 15 minutes. Not bad at all.
As fast as I thought it was, but okay.
Well, if it's bad, it can be 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it's not that far, realistically.
Anyway.
Anyways, so I get there, meet him up, and we're like, well, let's go in. So go in the stadium, and I have no idea what to expect. I've never met this dude before. I don't know where the tickets are or the seats are. And so he's like, oh, we're right here in this section. And I'm like, well, that's center ice. And we're walking downstairs, and we keep walking down the stairs.
Lower and lower.
And I'm like, where the fuck are these seats? Dude, he got second row center ice tickets.
I almost feel like the only benefit of front row is being able to bang on the glass. You can see better from the second row, right? Like slightly elevated.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
But so anyways, so I was like, this is like a bucket list thing. Like I've always wanted to like be here. It was so like incredible. And it's like, you know what? I remember the first time I went to an NBA game and it was just like you see the players and it's just like they're so much bigger than you even expect just watching them on TV all the time.
Yeah.
And I've been to a million hockey games. I've watched hockey for decades. And I don't know. It felt different down there, dude.
Yeah.
You see those dudes, and you're like, "Holy shit, that guy's like 7 feet tall."
And he's and he's standing on razor blades,
Right.
going fast,
Going fast.
hitting someone.
Right. So we're literally behind the King's bench.
That's awesome. Dude, okay.
Yes. So here's what I'll say. It was an incredible experience. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. It was a bucket list thing. However, I will say this. Where I choose to sit typically, I like the corner, like maybe 10, 12 rows up. Because I just like that view. You can see the whole ice. I like to sit when the Sharks
For the
score
net closest to you.
twice. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But you can see the whole game. You can follow all the action. I love it. So sitting where we were sitting, you have 3 coaches standing behind the players on the bench. So you can't see through them.
Yeah.
And then to my right, you have all the sticks lined up, the extra sticks.
All the sticks.
So I can't see the right goal.
Oh
I
my
can see the left goal, but I can't see the corners.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah, you can't see the corners that are on the the back left and right of you.
There's
'cause
nothing you can really do about
There's
it.
really nothing you can do. So you end up looking up at the big screen, right, to kind of watch most of the hockey.
You couldn't be closer, and you're watching TV.
Right. It was, I guess, it was still an incredible experience. I absolutely loved the fuck out of it, but I will never sit there again. I like my view much better from my.
Did someone let you lean over so you could do the glass thing?
No, we did go down there. You know what's cool?
What?
They actually, there's a monitor like in the floor by the bench where the head coach stands. It's probably like, I don't know, 45, 50-inch monitor, just like on the ground with like plexi over it, showing the coach like game, and he can like manipulate angles and shit like that, which I had no idea that was there. Yeah.
Whow.
So if you go up to the glass and look down, you can see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably not at every stadium.
But yeah, I don't know. They had it there.
Pretty wild.
I mean, it is SAP Arena, so maybe they have cooler shit. But dude, it was a fucking blast. We had so much fun. We went out
I
afterwards.
was watching the game, and I was like, "There's Alex."
Yeah. Multiple people were like, "I saw you on TV."
Yeah.
Even like Jeff, the guy from
My name is Jeff.
the East Coast, his dad was texting him like, "Hey, I see you on TV right now."
Dude, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a really good time, man. Can't thank him enough. We had a blast and went out afterwards, had a few more beverages. Just a really good time with friends, man. It was awesome.
Cool. Yeah, my very best friend James was in town.
Your very best friend.
My very best friend. Better than any other friend I have.
Absolute number one.
Yeah, easily. Like, not even a question.
Not even close. Yeah.
Nobody is even close to being
right.
as
on the Mount Rushmore of Dustin's friends. It's just 4 pictures of
one
James.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, like, all the rest of my friends are like looking up the mountain. Yeah,
Right.
So James was coming in town on Saturday. Excuse me, on Friday. He wasn't gonna get. He was driving from Hilton Head. They did. So he lives in the Grand Canyon. And they were doing a huge road trip. They went out to Georgia. They went up to Hilton Head. They came to Nashville. They're going to Arkansas, and they're heading home.
Oh shit!
They had family,
a massive road trip.
Yeah, they were meeting up with friends that have moved around the country, and seeing people like their family came down. His wife's family came down from New York. Anyway, yeah, when he's driving from Hilton Head, he's not going to get to Nashville till later in the evening. So he was like, "Just go to work. Don't worry about it. I'll see you after work." So I around like 12, he sends me a text saying, "Hey, just a heads up. I didn't know if I had like allergies when I woke up this morning, but my son just said he's sick and he feels like he might have a fever."
Oh no! How old's his son?
I don't know, kid's age, 4.
It's your bestest friend.
Yeah, 4.
I get it.
I'm sure it's 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that number, and the other one's 2, so 4.
Okay.
So he's like, they were going to stay here, clean the whole fucking house, wash the bedding for the guest bed.
Sure. As you do.
And he's like, we're going to get a hotel. And I'm like, okay, that's,
That's fine.
it's for the better if you're sick,
Yeah.
But like, what are we going to do? Like, this is like post COVID and all that shit. Natasha's had a cold that wouldn't go away for like 2 months.
Oh shit.
And, I caught like, I had that for like half of it. So we're like, well, just we'll meet up at this patio bar. It's got live music. That'll be fine. We'll kind of see how we're feeling and go from there. So we meet up. There's some live music there. We're actually talking about like the fact there was a steel guitar player in the band, And and his wife was like, "Oh, you don't see that much." I'm like, "You do when you live in Nashville." And it's like,
Right.
and you start to recognize the steel players. You're like, "Oh, that guy's from that band. He also plays in this band." Stuff like that. Anyways, we hang out. Everybody's fine. It's just kids being kids. He took a shit and he felt better. But they got a hotel for both nights, which in hindsight, I'm kind of okay with not having extra kids in the house for long.
Sure. It would have been a lot.
Yeah, it was nice to go home and get a break from them. They were
I get it.
Yes,
For sure.
So we split for the night. It's like 8:00. You know, these guys are all tired because they're parents.
Right.
I'm like, we were going to go to D's, but before that, there's a venue near where we were that we never really go to. And there's a vintage shop on the way there. And we walk past the vintage shop and they're open. We're like, well, that's weird. So we pop in and we know the owners. We're like, you guys open? And the owner's drunk. She's like, come on in. We're doing history talk. And I'm like, what? She sits me down. Oh, I jumped ahead in the story. While we were walking past the entrance, before I asked the owner that, I was like, that guy sitting there, he plays steel. I know he plays steel. I've seen him in a band. I don't know what band, but I know that guy plays steel. And she's like, we're doing history talk. This guy, Lynn, I don't remember his last name. Lynn is telling his stories of playing with Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. Yeah, he had some story about how Willie has his place down south of Austin at the time. And everybody that had played with him, that he wanted to play with him, moved down there. So like the band that had been playing with him in Nashville before Willie's house burned down in Nashville. So they went down to that ranch and they'd work all day and then smoke pot and then they'd maybe go out to Austin. So not everybody there was a drinker. A lot of them were smokers and they were fine sticking around the ranch and watching the stars and talking. He likes to drink, this guy, Lynn. So he would drive to Austin, except Austin would go dry at midnight. So they do last call at like 11:30. And by the time you like finish working on the ranch, change, go out, you're there at like 11. So you get like a half hour. Yeah. And you know, I don't know. It's just, those were some of the stories. It was really cool talking to him.
That's
but
awesome.
it was like we were just finished talking about how like you've run into all these musicians living here in Nashville. I think that's kind of it. Sick Drama Hotel, steel players. I got that note there. James told me some stories about like the lakes and the rivers and stuff, but those are all just search and rescue stories. I'll bring them up at another time, I think. What do you say we get into some of our comedy clips? Huh?
Let's do it.
All right. Thrash sent this one in. This is just under the wire. I'd seen this a couple times. Someone else sent it earlier in the week. It's really funny. It's Jesus doing stand up on a subway train and nobody on the train is in on the bit. So it's just, subway shenanigans. Yeah.
Started working out at Jehovah's Fitness. They kept bothering me, so now I just do CrossFit.
Get it.
People think I like to walk everywhere, but that's not true. I drive a Chrysler.
Jesus.
Went to a wine tasting. I got cut off. I got too drunk. They said, we're only going to serve you water now. I was like, oh no. Fix that real quick.
Great job. Thanks, Thrash. That's it.
God.
That's it. We're light on the comedy this week, so that one made it in under the wire. All right.
Okay. Got it. All right.
It's the warm up act.
We're arcing upwards here. It's a
arcing. Yes.
Arcing.
What do I have that goes with arcing? I think this.
The ultimate load.
Thanks for interrupting me with that thought, Alan. That's not a recording I have of you. This is Catbird. This is Catbird. Is that a
definitely not Cat Williams?
No, but her name's Cat, and her Insta is Catbird Comedy, and it says sister joke. Joey sent this in. Joey like the baby marsupial.
I've got a younger sister. She's non-binary, so she's my half sister now. And
that's clever.
It's okay. She loves that joke, but they hate it. Cool here.
We're cool here.
That was very, very clever.
It's great. Yeah. Well structured. Thanks, Joey. Bob Ferguson sent this one in. We like to every once in a while. I like to check in on.
I feel like white people have their own version of the N-word that they should use. I think the white N-word is a fella.
Automatically and solving a fucking puzzle. Thanks, TikTok.
Goddamn TikTok.
I hate TikTok.
It's the worst.
I don't even know what I was gonna say. It's a fucking brain eraser. What is that? Getting rid of bots? Oh, Bob Ferguson said this. I think before I've asked Alan what his favorite racial slur is. Alan, do you remember me asking you that?
I do, and I don't remember what I said.
No, it's okay. Well, I think we know it.
Chink. Chank.
Because we got 3 clips of you saying it.
Chank.
Yeah,
I was trying to work it out.
Yeah.
It's
What were you trying to
pronounce.
work out, Alan?
Difficult to pronounce.
What were you
name.
trying to work out, Alan?
The ultimate load.
That's right. That's what I thought.
Arcing all over the place.
James, you know what to do. I'm just gonna play this clip.
I feel like white people have their own version of the N-word that they should use. I think the white N-word is a fella. It works for everything, dude. Like Chris Rock was a white comedian. He'd be like, there's 2 kinds of people. There's white people and then there's fellas. Or if you ever get mad at someone, be like, hey, listen here, feller. You got the hard on?
Thanks, Taylor.
That's pretty good.
Who sent this again? Thanks, Bob. And then Nameless sent one in. Nameless sent a few in. This one was my favorite, and it's timely. We're talking about Diddy. So this is
Diddy. Here we
Sam
go.
Morril. Sam Morril working out some new material.
I saw his kids got handcuffed. Did you see that? His kids, King and Justin. Those are their names. I feel like he likes one of them better. I'm gonna do that with my kids just to confuse them. I'd be like, this is my first son, Big Dick Legend, and this is my other kid, Steve. I saw his.
That's new material.
That's
Probably
pretty
tag
good.
into that a little bit more as he goes.
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
All right, let's get into our
that?
segment. Start this off with a little parody video. I mean, it could be real. I'm sure somebody's made this real. This is a new Amazon device.
Introducing Amazon Echo. With your new personal assistant, Alexa Jones. Whatever you need, all you have to do is ask Alexa Jones.
Well, what does it do?
Alexa, what do you do?
Teach people about the sexual pleasure of eating turds.
Let's
Earthworms up our area.
Alexa, play rock music.
Alexa, stop.
Excuse me.
Wait, I want to try. Alexa, what time is it?
Time to die.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're. What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
Alexa, add wrapping paper to the shopping list.
Those are fucking fighting words. Excuse me.
Alexa, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
Listen, fuckhead. You have fucking crossed the line. Get that through your goddamn fucking head.
Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes.
You piece of shit. You fucking goddamn fucker.
Dad's not a morning person, but Echo definitely helps him wake up.
You better wake up, get your butts in gear, because you are being attacked.
Alexa, alarm off. Alexa, give me my flash news briefing.
They're growing humanoids up inside cows and inside pigs. Almost every guinea pig is horribly deformed with their testicles on top of their heads.
What did the dog say after a long day of work?
What?
Today was rough. You get it?
That was okay. That was weird.
That was an odd end.
Is there more?
Introducing.
Restarting.
That was a weird end.
That was a
I'm
weird
human.
ending.
Oh wait, this is what I wanted to play.
Let's rape possums.
That's my favorite thing. That's the best Alex Jones clip. It's never been better than that.
That's
And
pretty
nobody
good.
isolates that one. Everybody talks about all this other stuff. That's his.
Yeah, turning the frogs gay is a big
This
one.
is pretty close.
I never sucked any ding dongs.
That's pretty good. But let's, R word possums. I don't really know that word. You know what? I do not remember this episode from The Office. Toaster sent this in the group chat, and I was like, I don't know when I stopped laughing at it. I'm gonna be cool watching it this time, but I do not remember this. This must be like season 9, episode 8. Yep, I stopped
Right.
watching way
It's probably
before
when you
that.
punched out. Yeah, yeah.
Are gay men's.
What?
He said, "Where?
Okay.
Where are?"
Are gay men's vaginas? They don't have vaginas. What? Oh. They're just regular men. When 2 gay men have sex, how do they know whose penis will open up to accept the other person's penis? Wow.
Oh, fuck that.
That's fucking hilarious. I've never seen that episode either.
It was probably the best writing in like a season and a half
It probably was.
for that show. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is very lowbrow, but like,
That's hilarious.
like, dude, somebody pointed this out that who sent this? Nameless. Coco And Back to the Future, same plot.
I love that movie about the young guy who dreams of playing music. He spends a lot of his time practicing guitar, but unfortunately he won't be playing at the talent show. His rebellious nature is in contrast to his pretty conservative family. At dinner, we see that he doesn't really fit in with them, which is why he's going to have to learn more about where and who he comes from, because the story hinges around what happened in his family's past. So then our musician hero breaks the laws of nature and magically travels to a different world where he can interact with his past relatives. The locals notice immediately that the young hero doesn't belong there, and they scream in shock. He needs to get back home, but nobody's willing to give him a hand until he finds one of his relatives who will help him. While he's in this world, he dresses up like the locals so that he'll blend in. Then he meets up with this skinny guy, who he'll soon find out is also an important relative of his. That guy was constantly getting stepped on and bullied by the movie's main villain. The bad guy was always taking credit for the skinny guy's work. So things are amiss and the hero has to fix it. Otherwise, the photo will be incomplete. Part of this means breaking into a party. He uses his musical talents to make a big impression and enlist these band members. Then he absolutely...
I just want to pause it. Remember that part where he goes, "Hello, Chuck. Yeah, this is your cousin Marvin Berry." Right?
Yeah.
It's always pissed me off that he uses his last name talking to his cousin.
That is weird.
Right? Like, would you call your cousin like
by their last name? No.
No. Okay. It's always bugged me.
Absolutely rocks the house. Unfortunately, he's still fading away. The skinny guy fights back against the bully, who gets totally wrecked. His relatives thankfully fall back in love, and the boy goes back to his world and he runs as fast as he can. The picture featuring his relatives has been restored, and his world is better than it was before. The bully has had a huge fall from grace, and our hero's discredited relative, the skinny guy, is now a well-known writer with fame and respect. Great movie. I love that movie about the young...
Wow, the parallels are uncanny.
Dude, especially like the photo, like because it's like torn in Coco, and it's, you know, everybody knows the photo.
How about that indeed?
Yes, how about that indeed? All right. This is real life advice this time. This is not where I say it's life advice and then it's things you shouldn't do. Like, remember when the lady wanted to give you advice on how to do a threesome, and she says that you just talk to the girls and you say
kiss each other, kiss.
I love the way she sounds in that. This is real life advice. This is from NYU professor and friend of the show, Julian McBride. I thought about the fact they work together.
NYU, yeah.
I gotta get him on the show.
Oh, that'd be dope.
He didn't say no when I asked him.
He didn't.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, this is Professor Galloway's life advice.
Don't follow your passion, follow your talent. And if someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich. And by the way, the person telling you to follow your passion made their billions in iron ore smelting. There are exceptions. Jay-Z became a billionaire rapping and selling champagne. Assume you are not Jay-Z. Our advice, follow your talent. Find out what you're good at and apply the thousands of hours of grit and sacrifice necessary to become great at it. As you get there, the feeling of growth and mastery, along with the economic rewards, recognition, and camaraderie of being great at something, will make you passionate about whatever it is. You know what makes you...
I want to hear the rest of what he's saying, but I like co-sign that 100%. Like, I wouldn't call it anything like a midlife crisis. I got divorced when I was in my mid-20s, and I was like, am I going to keep doing what I'm doing for a living that isn't like affording me anything? And just like, is that what I want to do? Or am I going to take a little bit of time, go to school? I shit you not, it was a Cracked article where he talked about, like, imagine if I think David Wong wrote it, said, imagine that somebody's laying down on the street and someone says, do you need a doctor? I need a doctor, right? And you ran up and you're like, well, people like me, and like typically, like, you know, I think I'm pretty funny. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we need someone with a skill that can be applied here, right? Like that's great. Like, I hope that you are a good person. Like, I hope that, like, all of those things are going to do you really well in whatever skill profession you choose with a skill that you acquire. But acquire a skill, and the world will give you money for you doing that skill. And guess what? Around the same time in my life as when I became familiar with the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours thing. So I was like, as soon as I got into the trade I'm in, I was just picking up overtime shifts nonstop, just because I knew in my head, I kept track. I was like, if I work 60 to 80 hours a week, I'll only have to do that for like 3.5 years until I'll get close to my 10,000 hours. I'd have to check that math again, but it was something like that. So like, I mean, I just worked my ass off to get like, cause I wasn't a mechanic before. My dad didn't have patience for me with that shit. I couldn't even hold the flashlight for him. He'd get mad. Like I did not learn shit at the house. Right.
Right.
So like, I was worried. I was like, what the fuck am I even doing? But I mean, one of the best things that came from it was it got me off my ADHD medication. I was focused on something that I just found. And then like he's saying I want to hear more of what he's saying, but you find a passion in the fact that you really enjoy that it's something that you sort of mastered. Right.
Yeah.
And like when people ask me questions about air conditioning, I'm genuinely happy to talk about it. I know they feel like I'm like they're taking advantage of like getting to pick someone's brain. But like, you know, all my doctor friends are the same way. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry to ask you a medical question. He's like, you don't understand. I love this. I'm like,
right.
Sorry, dude.
No, that's awesome, dude. I love that story. And I 100% agree with what Galloway is saying there.
Like,
Absolutely.
be fucking good at what you want,
Yeah.
like what your skill is, you know, like you're an excellent manager. You should be managing people or projects, Alan. Like it's a skill set that you are so fucking good at. And like, if it also involves like managing tensions, like getting different groups of people to get along and work with each other to get to a common goal, like that is something that you're better at than like 99% of the people I know. Like,
definitely spent more than 10,000 hours doing it.
No shit, right? Yeah. Like your last employer. Okay, let's just see what else he has at the end of this.
Too passionate about something, that's something giving you the ability to take care of your children, to take care of your parents, to do amazing things.
We're just trading in hours in your life for that.
Yep.
Like, so that's why, like, you know, at times you're like, I know that I'm worth more than this, but this is what's going to get me into this position so I can do that. Like, it's all just trade-offs. And okay, yes.
Yeah.
To be more attractive to potential mates, to have people laugh at your jokes because they think you're more interesting than you actually are. These are the accoutrements of success and focus in a capitalist society. I'm not here to crush your dreams. If you want to pursue being a chef or an athlete or a model or an actor, fine, but have a sober conversation with yourself. In these industries, there's a 90+% unemployment rate, meaning that you need to be in the top 0.1% to make a really good living. What does that mean? That means if you chose another industry that had a 90+% employment rate, you just need to be in the top half to make a very good. Don't follow your passion. Follow.
Sorry, button.
Oh,
that was longer than I thought, but it was good.
It was good. And I would say, yes, what your talent is can become your passion once you're doing it. But if you have a passion that you believe in, you can pursue that as well. You can do both.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do what you're good at to pay for your life, essentially.
Yeah.
And then you can still do a podcast on the side with
Most
your buddy
people that
twice a
become
week.
successful at the things that are their passions are oftentimes it's because they have some other line of work that got them. John Grisham wrote his first book while he was working in a law firm. He just wrote like 10 pages a day or a page a day or something.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Or you know, you could do that and then you can get your creative expression out doing a
You know,
podcast.
when I bought
the podcast, fine, you play a saxophone poorly, and then
so when I bought the website and I was working on it,
yeah,
the story that kept like popping in my head was how Kevin Smith financed Clerks, his first movie. Essentially, he put it all on his own personal credit cards because nobody, he was nobody. He filmed it, he shopped it around, ended up selling it to Miramax, and the rest is history, right?
Wonder what he did with Weinstein to get that through Miramax.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a part of the story I hadn't really thought about. But that story just always sticks to me. Like, dude, that's amazing.
And think about what Kevin Smith did. Like, he didn't do anything very remarkable. His dialogue is clumsy, but it's unique.
It's unique.
And it hits you on something that's very, like, that's sort of common, right?
Yes.
And, I guess if we're doing something similar, we're admitting the fact that it's like, look, everybody's trying to make money in this racket by being on the extremes. Meanwhile, most of us fall within that 65% that are either centrists or independents or and I still got plenty of radical ideas, but largely I try to just find a way to communicate and get along with people, right?
Yep.
All right. This was actually supposed to go before that. Could you do a little bit more sillies? More sillies? There's like we're I'm really liking the we're this.
Oh, yeah. We do this. We're from Chicago. We do this.
Yeah.
We're Chinese. Of course we get boba every day.
We're Taiwanese.
Wait.
Of course we...
You're Chinese. What? We're Chinese. Of course we endorse free speech.
We're Taiwanese. Of course...
We're Chinese. Of course we have our own New Year's. We're Taiwan. We're Chinese.
All right, you get the joke.
I get the joke. How about that, indeed?
Who said? Oh, Slickett sent that last one. The Professor Galloway.
Galloway,
obviously, right? Slickett's bringing the bringing the bar up a little on the show every once.
Dude,
in a
I was messaging with Slickets over the weekend because I was building the website, and I was like, dude, I'm not sure I could do this. He's like, it's not that different from 3 years ago. You can figure it out. I was like, all right, man. Thanks, man. Have
cool,
faith
dude.
in me.
Yeah, he's the best, man. He really is a great.
Yeah,
guy.
he's really cool.
Alan sent me this right before the show. It says say the weird thing, and then people say some random.
I only knew part of this, by the way.
I know, right? You knew the government cheese. Part.
Yeah.
Okay.
At one point in time in the United States, the dairy industry was struggling so heavily that they reached out to lobbyists who went to the government, who encouraged them to buy an excess of cheese to make sure the stock market didn't crash surrounding the dairy industry, resulting in what we now know as the cheese caves, but also something else. While the government stores the cheese in the cheese caves, they all
cheese caves.
Cheese caves.
There are cheese caves. That's
It's like the helium caves, but with cheese.
Just like that, yes.
also send out plenty of excess cheese to modern pizza chains in the United States, such as Papa John's and Domino's and Jets, and pretty much every pizza chain you know of uses government cheese.
Little Caesars didn't get into that.
They didn't get the racket. They didn't have the lobbyists in the right place.
Cheese. Because they had such an excess of cheese and because they were looking for a way to get rid of it to justify the cost of buying so much, the government encouraged a lot of these chain pizza places to use more and more cheese in various products. The government is why we have stuffed crust pizza.
Oh, about that. So bizarre.
That is so weird. That is so fucking weird, man.
It's, you know what? Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, right?
Yeah. Here's a real truth. Drunk pilots are a thing. Here is. I feel like that Galloway clip should have been the transition into.
Yeah.
All right. So this is like private plane. So I don't think pilots are drunk on commercial jetliners, right, Greg?
This pilot attempted to fly his plane while drunk. Luckily, the terror realized just in time, and he was arrested later on.
Which runway would you like?
380 is fine.
38. We don't have a 380. Which runway do you want?
30 is correct, if at all possible.
Or 28 Victor, runway 30 right, taxi via Alpha.
Taxi via Alpha 380.
Need runway 30 right. Runway 30 right, taxi via Romeo 2 Alpha. Nor 28 Victor, I need runway 30 right and your call sign, please.
38 Victor, or 28 Victor, taxi via Alpha 28 Victor.
Or 28 Victor, are you familiar with the airport or have an instructor on board?
28 Victor is somewhat familiar with the airport. Over.
Or 28 Victor, go ahead and shut down your engine. Airport wanted to talk to you real quick. They're almost out to you.
28 Victor.
This pilot.
All about that. Wow. That's kind of terrifying, actually.
Yeah.
It was so obvious.
It was very obvious. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's got to be easier to fly a plane drunk than a car.
I mean, there's less things to hit, right?
Yeah. Right? Because like a boat's easier than a car.
Yeah, but the potential consequences are
right.
far more significant.
Well, right. Eventually, though.
Right.
Like you got a long way to get there. What if you make a wrong turn in a plane?
Yeah.
Yeah. There aren't gutters that you just crash into or anything.
I don't know if we played the clip on the show or if I just saw it and sent it to you and didn't play it, but there's a clip from the Graham Norton show, I think, where they have an audience member who was flying a plane, a commercial plane, and they lost all engine power.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
And
they were able to go ahead.
So this is like 30, 40 years ago. And this pilot was able to glide. So they were at like 37,000 feet.
Yeah.
He was able to glide down to like 15,000 feet.
Yeah.
Eventually they got an engine.
He kind of circled back around over the island.
They were able to land
over.
Yeah, they were able to land in Jakarta. But the really crazy thing was just this captain's like calmness.
Yeah.
When he got on the intercom and it's like, yeah, so all our engines are out. It's fine. We're gonna be like, it was just like the dude had like ice water in his veins. It was incredible. And even when they were kind of interviewing him a little bit on the show, you could still tell it was there. Like he's just that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
but he admitted, he was like, yeah, we were like a few miles from being really fucked. Like,
yeah. But he managed.
Yeah, that's great. I know that's what they're good at, though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they got their hours in, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And they literally measured them that way. That's what I tell
do.
myself while I'm flying a Boeing. Did you see that another Boeing issue?
I don't think I did.
The Southwest. So this wasn't on Boeing, but some Southwest or airport employee didn't close and like fasten down the cowl over the engine, and it ripped off mid-flight. And there's just videos of passengers just filming it from their side window. And by the time it lands, there's like nothing there. You're just like, Jesus, that's not good for.
Wow, that's fucking scary.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. All right, let's check it. We haven't talked about Guyana in a while. Remember, there's Guyana, and
they're trying to overtake, like, annex part of the country next to them.
No. Venezuela's trying to annex.
Venezuela's trying to annex them. Yeah. For their oil.
Let's take a big picture look at what's going on here. Over the next decade, 2 decades, it is expected that there will be $150 billion worth of oil and gas extracted off your coast.
This is an abrupt change. So this is like a 60 Minutes type interview, something like that, right?
With the president of Guyana.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is sort of like this is why Venezuela is wanting to invade and conquer that area.
Right.
It's an extraordinary figure, but think of it in practical terms. That means, according to many experts, more than 2 billion tons of carbon emissions will come from your seabed, from those reserves, and be released into the atmosphere. I don't know if you as a head of state went to the COP in Dubai.
Let me stop you right there. Do you know that Guyana has a forest forever that is the size of England and Scotland?
Yeah.
So he definitely comes back hard on this guy. I've seen this clip.
Okay.
But here's what I would have said. I said, how the fuck dare you criticize me with that fucking accent? Are you fucking serious? With what? Like, dude.
You're like, you're one of the biggest causes of this issue. Like, yeah. Hey, that's a great question when you don't fucking sound like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Combined, a forest that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon, a forest that we have kept alive, a forest that we have kept alive.
Does that give you the right? Does that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for, that you don't value, that you don't see a value in, that the people of Guyana has kept alive. Guess what? We have the lowest deforestation rate in the world. And guess what? Even with our greatest exploration of the oil and gas resource we have now, we will still be net zero. Guyana will still be net zero. With all our exploration,
a couple of points.
Still be net zero.
Powerful words, Mr. President.
How is he not recognizing the situation? Optics wise, you're never going to win. So just be more charismatic and like attack this more orthogonally. He's just going straight at it, right?
Yeah.
It's orthogonally. It was pretty good, right?
I'm not completed as yet. I am not finished as yet. I am just not finished as yet. Because this is the hypocrisy that exists in the world. The world in the last 50 years has lost 65% of all its biodiversity. We have kept our biodiversity. Are you valuing it? Are you ready to pay for it? When is the developed world going to pay for it? Or are you in the pockets? Are you in the pockets of those who have damaged the environment? Are you in the pockets, are you and your system in the pockets of those who destroyed the environment through the Industrial Revolution and now lecturing us? Are you in their pockets? Are you paid by them? Are you
All right. This is the president of a country.
Dude, he brought the receipts, man.
Let's.
Oh, that was it. That was it.
Impressive.
I finally got over to the come page because he kept saying guess what, but I didn't get it. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they talk about polluters and everything like that, it's like there was just a headline today that was like 80% of the world's CO2 emissions is from like 60 companies or something like that. And it's just like, please, bro, just buy an electric car, bro. Just recycle, bro. It's just going to take one more recycle, bro. We just need high speed rail, bro. It's like, no, these are the people fucking doing it. And you're making me feel like I need to get like a slow flow shower head.
Toilet and shower.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that was the biggest scam. That might be the biggest scam I ever pulled, was to put it on the consumers. That was the issue that led to climate change and everything. I actually have a theory similar to that about DEI later in the show. Now I have to say it. So,
okay.
Got a
Interesting.
theory, Alan. I got a theory.
We got theories out here.
Yeah. Cyberbullying and cyber warfare. That's what I got.
Okay.
Cyberbullying. This is that Ryan Macbeth guy. He does the intel or analysis.
Oh, it's not presenting.
Bullying attacks. It's called Project Watermelon. And it combines everything young people love: being petty, slacktivism, politics they don't understand, and Gaza. So here's the basic plan. People like this will get assignments from accounts named Angie Marie.
Ready for the next Operation Watermelon assignment? It's Michaela Nagira, the biggest beauty influencers.
Once these people get their assignment, they go to that selected TikToker or Instagrammer and they bully them into talking about Gaza by posting things like, "Why aren't you talking about the genocide?" And
I wish a bitch would.
the person they're targeting does like hair and makeup. So they have no clue what's going on, but some people can't handle it. Elise Myers, the taco lady, just shut down her account after she was targeted. Now, I used Cyabra to evaluate some of the accounts and keywords, and it looks like most of the accounts are authentic. This is cyberbullying as warfare. It is warfare in the information domain. So this could be another TikTok attack vector to be aware of. Hey.
Isn't that something?
Have you noticed he's been smoking in his videos more? Look, he's got a cigarette right there.
Project Watermelon, do me now.
That's a real cigarette. That's a lit cigarette.
Well, maybe it's a joint, but
looks like Ray from Ghostbusters. Remember when
does.
Ray has the cigarette?
He does.
Lit off his lip when he sees Slimer.
That's incredible. So they're using people like almost like bot armies, but they're actual people.
Hey, remember that time where I was like, dude, if you put me on the spot, I can't really give you a good example of how Palestine or pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas really. Not that everyone who's against Israel's conduct of the war is pro-Hamas, but honestly, a lot of there is a I tried to tell you that I felt like there was effective propaganda, and you're like, propaganda? And then anyway, I tried to sell it for like 10 seconds. I was like, well, oh no, that's Israel being bad. Well, no, that's Israel being bad. So no, oh, those are all realities. So like, you got me there, but it's a little more subtle or more complex, I guess, at the same time. And that's a good example of it being more complex, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get to Israel in a second. But before that, I kind of want to get ahead of something that I started seeing more coming up in my right-wing circles.
Okay. So it means I probably haven't heard of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
So how plugged in are you about what's going on with bird flu?
Not really at all.
So there was a crossover contamination to a human, and it was the first or one of the first to be infected with the bird flu.
Was it in Asia?
It was no, sorry, one of the first in the US.
Oh, okay.
There's a guy in Texas and he got it from a cow. So it went bird flu to cows to humans.
Okay.
And it's mammal to mammal. That's
is this a new virus or the one we already knew about?
It's whatever bird flu is.
Okay, all right.
It's not a different strain or whatever. It's some. So that's a good point. What you bring up that they would keep in mind when they try to talk about vaccines and shit like that. They've probably been working on vaccines for bird flu since the 90s, right?
Oh yeah, for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I find this interesting because it touches on a lot of stuff. Remember, price of eggs go up when they start culling chickens, right? That comes up in this too. So if you see people talking about eggs, you see people talking about a new pandemic, vaccines, all that. That's the next couple clips are going to touch on that.
Okay.
America's largest egg producer is dealing with the bird flu after some of its chickens in Texas tested positive. Now, this highly contagious virus has also been found at Michigan's largest poultry farm. Omar Villafranca looks at the potential impact on you, the consumer.
Omar Villafranca sounds like Omar from Franco.
It
Actually,
does.
that's literally what
it means. Yeah.
Omar from Franco has this to say.
Omar.
Cal, Maine, the nation's largest egg producer, shut down production and culled more than 1.5 million chickens after a major bird flu outbreak at its Palmer County, Texas plant. The number represents less than 4% of the company's flock and less than 1% of chickens in the U.S.
All the eggs were destroyed. The chickens are going to be destroyed, so it's completely safe.
This comes as 6 states are reporting outbreaks of avian flu among dairy cows. This week, a Texas dairy worker had pink eye after testing positive for the virus, becoming only the second.
His buddy was farting in his eye.
Second known human case in the U.S. Texas.
That was him just making up smelling the fart.
Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller says there's no reason for people to be alarmed.
The only way you could get it from eggs is if you ate them raw. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Hey, you know why you don't eat eggs raw in the U.S.? Or wait, hold on. That's not what I meant to say. Do you refrigerate your eggs?
Yes.
You know why? Because you
Because
bought them at a store that had them refrigerated through the whole process. Once
So
they go
if you-
through refrigeration, that affects the shell and how it expands or
Right.
contracts. If it was always not refrigerated, that would be fine. You would need to wash it.
But you don't have to
There's-
refrigerate it.
Yeah, in Europe they do that differently. It's just like two different methods of getting you safe eggs. But
Yeah,
once it's refrigerated, you have to keep it refrigerated.
Yeah, because if you buy them from the store that has refrigerated them and you leave them on your counter, there's potential for bad shit to happen.
Because it can get in because of the shell has changed.
Right,
when it was
salmonella
frozen.
and
Also,
stuff like that.
our eggs are more like chicken farms where they piss and shit all over their eggs, so
Right.
they need to be washed. So because they're washed and they're good, they just start refrigerating them. It's just a different process.
So my dad actually up in Washington, he gets eggs from like a neighbor friend.
We do
who-
that too sometimes. We save
Yeah.
our egg cartons and take them over
Yep,
there.
dad does the same thing. And yeah, you can just leave those out on the counter because they're never.
Yeah,
gonna-
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, a little bit more.
To consumers, eggs are safe.
Despite the outbreaks, experts say prices should remain the same.
That's worth remembering too. They're going to talk about like percentage of the egg market this actually affects. I think that's in this clip. It's not a significant percentage,
Okay.
but these cunts do take advantage of headlines. Same with the gas companies, right? They're like, oh, I guess we better raise prices. Might
Jack
as
up the
well.
prices.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But they shouldn't. This shouldn't affect it in a way that does. So, well, anyways. But if it does, also remember it's because there's a bird flu
Big
going.
picture, it's not a big number. We have plenty of milk production. Well, I don't expect to see much effect of this for us consumers.
You can't get bird flu from eating thoroughly cooked eggs or poultry, according to the USDA, who also advises you should wash your hands after touching raw poultry or eggs.
Go about business as usual. No spike in prices in either egg prices or dairy products. It's completely safe, no alarm, no need to change anything you're doing, really.
If he didn't say that so many times at the end, I wouldn't be so suspicious.
Yeah, he was laying it on a little thick there.
Sounded like it.
All
Not
right,
just his accent.
Nothing to worry about here. Move on.
Yeah. Well, I guess the reason I wanted to get that on there, let's play this one, is just because I feel like this will probably get blown up eventually. And
It'll show up on one of those stupid Instagram
I feel like it all
pages.
comes down to like when and where the first time you heard about it was,
Sure, yeah.
And I feel like I'm not an expert on talking about this. I just feel like, make your own decision. Here's something pretty normal about this. If the first time you hear about this is a TikTok video, God help you, right?
Indeed.
Cows were not thought to be a species at high risk. And so if the virus is now spreading in cows, what are the chances that it could mutate to become a risk to humans?
People are like AIDS came from some dude fucking a monkey.
Yes.
Which, by the way, they say it was like a guy that was selling monkey meat and he cut it and he had an open wound. But
that's what they say. Yeah,
that's what they say, right? Do you think that the cows got bird flu because some cow fucked a chicken?
Well, it is true. This is the first time we've seen avian flu or bird flu in cattle. And as you know, cows are mammals. So this is a new group of animals that we are seeing this virus in. And that just means more opportunity for this virus to mutate and change. And that's what we want to make sure we are continuing to stay ahead of.
Monitoring whether it continues to spread and evolve is one thing. Preparing for the possibility that it might is another. In a New York Times opinion piece, columnist Zeynep Tufekci said, the government needs to gear up to potentially mass-produce vaccines quickly. Do you agree with that?
That's where I think some of the alarm is going to come in when people are starting to say like, well, don't worry, we have a bird flu vaccine. They'll be like, see, that was a little too quick. It's like a little too quick. This shit started in like 1998 or 2000, something.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Good news is the United States has been preparing for avian flu outbreaks for more than 20 years. We've invested in our ability to test for this, to prevent it, and to treat it. And we know that the
If we get to stick a Q-tip up our fucking nose, that would be pretty nice. I miss those days.
strain we're seeing right now is the same strain we have seen before. Tests will pick this up. Our treatment, which is Tamiflu, which we have both doses in stockpile and around the country, works. And we even have vaccine candidates that are ready to go. So
Which was literally nothing, because that was what drove so many people into such a hysteria at the beginning of the pandemic was we don't know. We literally didn't know how it was spreading at first. People were like, we got to wash our groceries, right? Like,
wash your packages, like spraying with
in
it.
hindsight, though, like, come on. Like, of course, like it's a cold. Like, it's from coughing on people. It's not from.
Right.
Okay.
So it's very different than what we experienced, for example, at the beginning of COVID when we're.
Damn it! Am I just going to say everything she's saying?
Isn't that something?
Where's that audio
a
from?
dog sound?
No, where was that audio from?
Oh, I don't remember.
Because
Couple
like,
of like news clips, like
it almost sounded like Ezra Klein, but not quite.
Oh, that might have been. That was probably a podcast, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you with that one. So many times I'm listening to something, it's a clip inside something I'm listening to, and then I go and find the original audio somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I can't save the video, I'll just do like a screen recording of the audio. So
nice. Okay.
Dude, Way saved the day. Coming up, we talk about Israel. I was like, I saw this clip. I meant to save it. I don't see where it is anymore. And he pulled up an hour and 45-minute press conference. He's like, it's at the 103 to 105-minute mark. I'm like,
dude, Way's the man.
It's the fucking, and he did that in 5 minutes. Like, it wasn't like he watched the whole thing.
Right.
Like, I know where that's from. Let me skim through it. Yeah. Okay. We're not that's when we talk about Israel. Real quick, let's talk about China, because Janet Yellen went to China, and I thought this was kind of significant.
Janet Yellen was in China, and she talks about China's overcapacity, which is China overproducing things, but they don't have the domestic consumption power since the pandemic.
This is kind of an old beat when making fun of China, right?
Mhm.
Is overcapacity flooding U.S. markets, driving down price, killing mom and pop, right? But he's saying for a while, China was consuming too, but they don't have as much consumption due to the pandemic or after the pandemic. People's lifestyles
It
changed.
definitely halted the
right.
So they export it cheaply to the rest of the world. And this is the only CCP lifeline that's available now amidst its dying economy. To export EVs, cheap goods, and other products. This floods the market with cheap goods that destroy local businesses as the price is insanely cheap. How can a mom and pop shop compete? Also, using de minimis rule, anything under $800 isn't subjected to duty or tax in the.
Since they sell cheap things, it's cost them nothing to sell it here because there's no duty.
tariff. Yeah.
Duty.
United States, and they get free shipping on top of that. Yet it's actually more expensive to send a package from New York to DC than it is to ship one from China. This is finally becoming a national security issue in the Biden administration. Will they be ballsy enough to slap China with more tariffs? Meanwhile, China's gaslighting the rest of the world, saying that we're not overproducing, you're seeing things. No, China, we're not delusional. You're just waging an economic war against the rest of the world through cheap goods.
Isn't that something?
A little bit of opinion in there. Any thoughts?
Definitely. I mean, so as you said, this is not a news story. China's been doing that or something similar for years and years now. So, I mean, some of the things that Trump railed against, he was right about. There were some things that was like, yeah,
It was literally not like that though.
right, exactly, not like that. But part of the things that he saw were accurate. Things he pointed
He
out.
didn't see shit. He listened to
He
what
listened to other
Biden-
people. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I've given him more credit than he deserves.
Well, I mean, he's a politician. It's the same
Sure.
thing. Biden fucking knows anything.
Sure. But some of those things were real. And yeah, China has been doing that for quite some time, and they will likely continue to do so.
Well, speaking of things that were real, let's talk about something that is
real. I see where you're going there. I see where you're going.
So spokesman John Kirby, he was on Face the Nation on Sunday, and this speech, you may have heard about this already. If you haven't, basically it comes down to tough talk. We expect Israel's tactic to change, otherwise our approach is going to change. We've heard these words before, but not so sternly, I would say.
They've been sort of, gradually ramping up the rhetoric, I would say.
Yes.
Is the Biden administration position still that there should be zero conditions on aid, military aid to Israel?
I'm not going to basically he's going to say, I'm not going to say anything for Biden, and then not answer that. But very well done.
Get ahead of the president or decisions he might or might not make going forward. He was very clear in his call with the prime minister that if we don't see some changes in their policies in Gaza and the way they're prosecuting operations, we're going to have to make some changes of our own.
You do think these are Israeli policies then to block aid?
They get to decide how they prosecute this war. It's their operation. We just talked about them pulling troops out, what that means. They get to decide how they prosecute operations. We get to decide how we're going to react to that and how we're going to administer our own policy with respect to Gaza. We make those decisions, and the president was clear with the prime minister. If there's not changes, if things don't get better, then we're going to have to make changes of our own.
Is the Biden administration position still?
That's it.
Isn't that something?
I got all flustered at the end there. Why don't you talk?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So it's like it's so we're starting to put our foot down, it seems like, here with Israel in this situation. And it's like, what did it take? Did it take a
Killing aid workers?
Did it take a drone
Yeah.
strike on on aid workers? And it's like, if that's what it took, then what about all the other shit that led up to this before?
I think that the people that work within the administration recognize that all of the horrific killing that happened before that was kind of on par to the way we prosecute wars in, like, where was it? Mosul, where we killed like 4,000 civilians to kill 10,000 total, including ISIS. But we
so here's the really shitty part about this, is that at base level, this is about politics. This isn't about
it's never going to be a conversation about the U.S.'s relation with Israel that isn't about a politician trying to get elected or reelected.
Right. This is not about being a humanitarian. This is
if they could, they would get rid of this problem so they could just focus on getting reelected on another method. Yeah,
correct. So the administration or the people that are working for the campaign are seeing this, and they're like, look, this could cost us the election, you guys, like, for real. Like, this does not look good. We're losing a lot of under 25-year-olds who are seeing this shit, and they're like, fuck that. Like, they weren't around to see the aftermath of the Holocaust. They have a different relationship with Israel than older generations do. And so they're horrified by what we are paying for to happen in Israel. And we're going to lose all those voters. Maybe they won't vote at all. Maybe they'll vote for RFK. Who the fuck knows? But this could cost us an election, and now we have to do something. It is a political decision. It is.
But that's also good that politicians.
I mean, reacting to their constituents, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm kind of embarrassed it took me this long to realize it. World Central Kitchen, the what do you call it?
The NGO, the charity.
They got drone striked 3 times, or 3 cars worth of people. That they're basically a free market alternative to FEMA.
I mean, yeah, they're an NGO. Yeah, non-governmental.
Yeah, but they're like better than FEMA.
Well, most NGOs are. FEMA sucks, dude. I mean, they've done some good work, but they've also, I mean, Louisiana was a shit show.
That's George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Right.
FEMA, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of sucks that Israel drone stroked the
show
free
title.
market alternative to FEMA.
Drone stroked.
This is more of John Kirby talking circles. Let's see if this is extra. I think this is worth it. This is him at a press conference.
What exactly is the warning that's being issued here?
I think it's very clear in the language itself, Nancy. We're looking for concrete steps to alleviate humanitarian suffering in Gaza. Again, I won't get ahead of what the Israelis will or won't say or announce. We're looking for concrete steps to be announced here soon. And it's not just about the announcement of concrete steps and changes in their policies, but it's the execution of those announcements and those decisions.
You're not hearing anything, right?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's something, all right.
Yeah, exactly. This was an interesting aside. This is about Dr. Jill. Dr. Jill's been talking to Dr. Joe. We'll go with Dr. Joe. President Joe.
A Palestinian-American doctor who treated patients in Gaza recently tells NBC News that he walked out of a meeting between the president, administration officials, and Muslim American community members on Tuesday to signal to the White House how his community has felt abandoned by this administration. Additionally, according to an attendee in that meeting, President Biden revealed to Muslim community leaders some of the pressure that he is facing personally, including from First Lady Jill Biden, who he says has urged him to end the war, telling her husband, quote, "Stop it now, Joe." Then a Palestinian.
Stop it now, Joe.
I'm sure she said that more than once to him.
I think he said that to him as a young senator, but we forgot about that once he got elected.
Right. I always find it interesting.
I heard you like me. Remember that line?
I do. I always find it interesting the impact that presidents' wives have on them, because we've seen that throughout history. It's often been the case.
Yeah, then you have Melania that was just fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Remember when she wore that "I don't care" jacket?
I don't really care, do you?
Yeah.
Of course
Never really figured that out. Like,
I think about that way more because it's like a puzzle that hasn't been solved.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. I think about that probably once a week.
We need to get AI on that. That'd be useful.
Do you? What did that mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us some weird response.
47.
Yeah. The answer 42.
42. You're right. Yeah.
What is this one? This is so last week Iran's embassy.
Where'd you run to?
No. I ran so far away. Last week Iran's
embassy in Syria got bombed.
Iran.
Iran.
I forgot how to say it right.
Yeah.
Iran's embassy in Syria got drone stroked by Israel.
Yes.
And
they did kill a general.
They did kill a Hezbollah general, right? Or an IRGC
Quds Force.
Quds Force. Okay, so Quds Force is
it's like their special ops essentially. Guys.
Okay. And he was training with Hezbollah. No,
yes.
Hezbollah's not in Syria, right? Hezbollah is Lebanon.
Yeah, he was training with some
okay. Well, so this person died in their embassy, which is suspicious. Maybe we'll have a clip about that coming up.
We are being told,
not this clip though,
by a senior administration official that the U.S. is currently on high alert and is actively preparing for what they expect to be a significant attack by Iran that could come within the next week or so. This Iranian attack would, of course, be in response to that Israeli airstrike that we saw in Damascus that ended up killing multiple top Iranian commanders. And U.S. and Israeli officials, I am told, have been in close contact, preparing for what they see as an inevitable attack from Iran. These two governments have been in close consultation, preparing for a number of different ways in which this forthcoming attack could unfold. And they do believe that both U.S. and Israeli assets are at risk of being targeted. We are being told by a senior administration.
So,
isn't that something?
Iran is promising a significant response.
I think you can take the could out of that sentence. It's not there could be a response. There will be a response.
Yeah, there will be. It's usually them just like beating the shit out of some woman for not wearing her hijab.
No, they've done. I mean, Soleimani, they said the same thing, and they did eventually have a response.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be.
What do they do in the meantime? They beat the shit out of their citizens.
True. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. It might not be next month.
Well, they gave an offer. They said, if you can do a ceasefire in Palestine, we won't do shit.
Yeah.
And Israel didn't seem to respond to that.
No.
When Israel pulled troops out of southern Gaza, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Israel pulled troops out of southern Gaza, either over the weekend or late last week, all my like anti-Semitic accounts that I keep tabs on, they were right in my DMs responding to my story, where they said, I had a story about that, right? And they were like, yeah, Israel's about to get clapped and they know they need to go fight against Lebanon. And I'm like, are you fucking dumb? They're taking those troops out to go invade Rafah. Like this is for their they're
just rotating them around.
No, but these guys are really great at connecting the dots, Alan.
Ah, yes.
They always say like, I'm just really good at pattern recognition. I'm not anti-Semitic. It's like, well, where were you on that one, dipshit? And that's your same anti-Semitic engine.
Yeah.
So I put out a thing into the group chat saying I need to find this clip of Matt Miller, the State Department spokesperson, the guy who looks like Dracula. And like I said, shout out to Wei for finding the exact spot in the clip. I isolated it already. It's about 1:45.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So this is the U.S. responding to. So this was a press conference where he's taking questions from reporters. So reporters.
This is yesterday.
Yes. So yesterday they were being asked, hey, we covered that drone strike on the Thursday night while we recorded. So that was either Thursday or Wednesday. So this is last week. So yesterday they're saying like, look, we noticed that you guys haven't condemned Israel for this action. What gives? Like, what's holding that up? He's like, well, we haven't really decided whether that was inappropriate for them to blow up an embassy, right? Now, it sounds like that's just the way we treat Israel, right? Like, can you please give us a good reason? It turns out there might be a bit of a reason. I don't think he quite gets to it here because he doesn't want to say it because he's the press secretary for the State Department. I'll sprinkle it in.
So just on that,
Yeah.
in reference to the Mexico-Ecuador situation, which you have a problem with the Ecuadorians going.
Ecuador stormed the Mexican embassy, or Mexico stormed an Ecuadorian embassy, something like that. So they're like, you have a problem with that, but you're not saying anything about Israel blowing up the, okay.
Into the Mexican embassy. Is it still the U.S. position that what happened in Damascus did not involve a legitimately protected diplomatic facility as covered by?
It is our position that we are still attempting to answer that question, whether it was a consular facility or not.
And if it was?
I don't want to deal with hypotheticals. We're trying to determine the facts of the situation.
Well,
look at that part, man. Like, that's like, I mean, I've got a like receding hairline.
Yeah.
That is like back here. Like, why even do that?
Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, this is now several days old. What exactly is it that you're waiting for?
We are waiting on a final determination. It's something we're looking into. We're making our own assessment based on facts and the facts that we continue to gather.
From the people that you have on the ground in Damascus?
We have a variety of ways to gather information.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What are they?
I'm not going to get into them here, but we obviously have.
I love this. Okay, so like, before I say what I want to say, yes, I love the fact that like the purpose of the press is to hold the government accountable by asking hard questions and usually being rejected, as he's doing. But just imagine the world where he's like, oh, well, good question. Glad you asked it 3 times. Now that you've asked it 3 times, I have to answer you. It's from this asset. He's right here. Here's his telephone number and his street address. Like, no, I can't.
This satellite. And
yeah. And he's like, oh, because you have satellites? Like, I'm not going to fucking talk. Oh, because you have people on the ground? I'm not fucking answering that. Like, and he's doing a good job deflecting it. This is like a dance. Like, they're both.
It is. This is a tango.
As annoying as that is, I think that's what our founders had in mind when they gave.
I agree.
Intelligence capabilities.
Well, the Israelis say it wasn't a legitimate diplomatic.
I understand that, and we're gathering our.
You don't agree with that?
No, what I said is we're gathering our own facts and making our own determination.
Well, okay. How?
By looking at the facts and making a determination. I'm not going to take you inside the process, but we're gathering.
I mean, what?
Yeah, we're gathering as much
satellite imagery or something.
We are. I'm not going to get into the exact facts that we are gathering, but I can tell you we are looking.
We're waiting for Israel to tell us it's okay. And
right.
us to believe them. It's
we're
kind
gathering.
Of what it sounds like.
We're gathering information.
Yeah.
Mexican embassy in Quito is a diplomatic.
It is a long established Mexican embassy.
This wasn't long established?
That is ultimately the question that we are trying to determine.
Even if it was an established diplomatic facility and there were also, like IRGC folks in there, would that justify an attack?
Again, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals.
They wokeified terrorists. IRGC folk. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Would that justify an attack?
Again, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. We want to answer the factual question before moving on to that second order one.
And just one more question on this this Iran threat that has been discussed by U.S. officials. There are some reports that the expectation is that the target is expected to be in Israel. Is that accurate?
I am not going to speak for the Iranian government, obviously. I think we would send a loud and clear message in that they should not escalate in any event, whether that means inside Israel or elsewhere in the region.
All right. So, button.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something indeed?
Isn't that something?
I mean, so embassies are one of the few things that we sort of tend to respect on the world stage. It's kind of a thing everybody does. I mean, we have embassies in Russia.
But isn't that also
and we will continue to make clear to them.
Doesn't that also include Israel not fucking no, doesn't that also include Iran not putting like military targets in there and doing training? And like, I mean, why are multiple IRGC commanders inside that embassy? Like, also, didn't you see what came out? I mean, this is Israel's side of it, but Israel's saying that those were people responsible for organizing and planning of October 7th.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
That was one of that was what he wasn't saying. So I thought you knew that.
No, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's also
clearly we have spies in our.
That's what we're saying. We're trying to find out about this. We're not just trusting Israel. You know that reporters heard scoops on that, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like we know that like China has embassies in the U.S. with spies in them. So does Russia. We have embassies in Russia with spies in them. We just do that. That's what countries do, and we still respect those places as places we don't touch because that's what an embassy means. And if we're not going to follow those rules anymore, that's a drastic change in how we've done foreign policy and State Department work to negotiate with other countries.
Okay, I do call bullshit if you do the Hamas version of putting your command center.
I agree. I agree.
That's what was going on there. Then I think you've legitimized that target, and that's what they're trying to find. That's what he is not answering in that press.
Sure. That's what he's dancing around. Yeah. Hey, what happened with the video a minute ago? Like, we got bigger.
I put it to full screen. Did we get bigger too, though?
Well, so I have
you like that format? I can do that again.
I did. I liked it better. Yeah.
I'll do that.
It might look better for the listeners.
I thought so too. Yeah. It was by accident, but I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I was listening to Reason Roundtable, and one of their editors in their Roundtable podcast was talking about just like the difficulties of foreign policy. It's always like, of all of government policy, it's the least congruent, or it's your greatest opportunity for things to be like conflicting, right? Like, yes, you state this objective, but then you go do this. That's because it's inherently more messy because you're interacting with other moving parts you don't have as much control over, right? So a couple of things on foreign policy I thought were interesting. It's in the context of Israel and the US pressuring Israel to change their ways.
And there are no great options, or at the very least, there are trade-offs, quite clear trade-offs with every possible option. So with Israel, or with any of the other countries who we have been arming or funding or sort of giving some sort of aid to, right? If you pull your funding completely, then you lose your influence, right? Because there's only after it's gone, then what do you have older?
When I heard him saying this, I was thinking, I'm going to give you your funding back.
Sure.
I think that's actually okay, but okay.
That's
over those countries, right? What can you say? Well, I want you to do this because we've got billions of aid coming to you, and if that billions isn't coming anymore, then there's no more leverage. On the other hand, you keep your funding in place and you become complicit. You are participating in whatever awfulness, possibly even encouraging it or making it easier, making it more likely because you're providing more money for more guns and more bombs and more atrocities.
I got distracted because my how Tiger Woods always wears red on Sundays?
Yeah.
I have different colored underwear that I like to wear on different days of the week, and my Monday underwear is sticking out. Fix that.
I don't think I knew this about you.
Well, I don't think you needed to know that about me.
I probably didn't.
I'm like, that's red. Oh.
It's Monday. Monday.
That's Sunday on. Okay, well, I wasn't listening. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so essentially what he's saying is we have leverage over Israel because we give them all the money. If we take away the money, we don't have the leverage anymore. I think so. There's a term in management, silence means approval, right? So if you walk by somebody doing something that is unacceptable and don't say anything, then now you've approved of that action. So you have to react if you see something that's
timely reactions.
Correct. Yeah, feedback immediately, all the time. And so, I mean, essentially what the U.S. policy towards Israel has been throughout the course of this war is we're approving of it. Whether we say it, that's what we're doing. That's what our actions show.
Sure.
And so, but at this point, the administration's like, we can't keep doing that. The optics are too bad. So, I mean, they have to do something different, I think.
Yeah, fair. Right after that clip, he went on to say that, like, if you condition your aid, then you're essentially like meddling. People will accuse you of meddling in the other country and treating them as like a proxy state, right?
Well, what are sanctions but the opposite of that? I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good reaction to that. Yeah, but it does make you complicit once you involve yourself in any way, right?
Yes.
One way or the other. It's like, well,
Sure.
you didn't do enough. You could have done more, right?
Absolutely.
What would you do?
Man, this is a very complicated situation. I definitely don't think that the way Israel has reacted to what happened on October 7th has been productive or useful for them in the long term. And
Sure.
I've said that since the beginning.
But like, there was no version of, like, if you talk to people that were planning this on October 6th,
Sure.
and you said, you know who you're doing this to, you know what's going to happen, they'd say, absolutely, we know. They're going to do this. And they did that anyways. So, like, it wasn't off the table. Like, sorry, is this the first time Israel overreacted?
No.
Okay.
But that's what they wanted, right? Because they wanted Israel to look bad.
Yeah,
on the
I get
world
what you're
stage.
saying, but like,
So you're playing into
like,
their hands.
fine. and it's working great on the global stage because Israel's the fucking bad guy. Fine.
Right.
But like they knew on October 6th that they were doing this to someone the next day that was going to be doing this today.
Absolutely, they did.
So that's on them. That is all on them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and they deserve to pay for that. I 100% agree with that. I don't know. I think perhaps the use of special forces could have been more surgical. I mean,
How?
Israel has one
How
of
are
the
you
most.
going to go do that? Like all those people are going to be dead. I mean, like, I guess because you're saying it's on you as the outraged party to do it effectively without like killing civilians.
Well, it's not just that; it's turning the entire population of children against you.
I know, but that's war. It became a
Sure.
war when they did that. Like, I don't like this. I don't like defending them in any way or
Yeah.
arguing for them. But like, they did what people do when they go to war, which is okay. Civilians are going to die. We need to kill the people that did this. I mean, if we could, we wouldn't kill civilians. But it is one of the most densely populated places on the planet. This is callous. That's not Israel's fault. And if anything, it's Hamas's fault because that's where they're hiding after they did this. Or other countries, Qatar.
So Israel has a very effective special forces. They have a very effective intelligence apparatus.
Yeah, and they'd all be dead if they went like street by street without the type of bombing cover that they did.
Potentially, there would be losses. Absolutely. Obviously, there was a huge intelligence failure by Israel in the run-up to October 7th. They didn't see this coming. I mean, they punch way above their weight class as far when it comes to intelligence and special ops. They have for a long time, partially because of our support. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I just think that the consequences of Israel's actions currently and ever since October 7th happened,
which is a fair statement that I agree with.
Are they're good. We know what's going to happen. We know what that brings. So,
this is I don't know. Blinken's just going to say something like what I just said. Should I even play it?
Yeah, let's see what he has to say.
Okay.
We have an offer that's on the table now to Hamas that is very serious and should be accepted. Hamas could move forward with this immediately and get a ceasefire that would benefit people throughout Gaza, as well as, of course, get the hostages home. I think the fact that it continues to not say yes is a reflection of what it really thinks about the people of Gaza, which is not much at all. It's also extraordinary the extent to which Hamas has been almost erased from this story. None of what
Oh wait, is there more?
we've seen in Gaza would have happened had Hamas given up the hostages right away, put down its weapons, stopped hiding behind civilians, and surrendered. It has an opportunity now to agree to the proposal on a ceasefire and on hostages. The ball is in Hamas's court. The world is watching to see what it
Isn't that something?
Talks like a boring Obama.
He actually kind of does. It really does.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this. When this happened, I was like, I think Israel has about 72 hours to do whatever the fuck they want.
I do remember you saying
and
that.
They took too long, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weeks.
All right, let's talk about elections here. Are you okay we didn't solve that?
I'm okay.
Okay, let's move on. I got 4 election clips and we got some stuff about Trump's trials and we'll go to lunch.
This has been a long half, bro.
No, it hasn't. It's been like an hour. 20.
It's almost 2 hours.
No, it hasn't.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
20 hours of pre-show. That's for the
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
This is friend of the show, Simon King, doing his Robert
Yes.
Williams impression, talking about the election.
Dude, I love that dude.
I know he's the best.
He's awesome. Every time he shows up on my feed. Oh, we're not presenting.
I know, Alan.
Oh, okay.
It's an election year in America, and you know what that means? It's time to play everyone's favorite game show, Illusion of Choice. Tell them what they want, Bob. Nothing, because you don't actually have a choice, right? You have 2 candidates, both of which are under the thumb of the same pharmaceutical companies, the oil companies, the banking companies, and the military-industrial complex. And those are your choices. And what are your choices, really? 2 very senile old men, one who looks like a skeleton, who's a bit of a sniffer, and I think is so senile that he's lost all the nuclear codes, which happened in Russia after the fall of the Cold War, and I'm sure that ended up fine. Don't worry, we're good. Everything is normal here. Move along. And the other guy, oh my God.
So It's
doing Robin
Simon
Williams.
King doing an impression of Robin doing his impression of a bunch of different other people.
Yes. He looks like an Oompa Loompa with a pituitary problem, and if he had Pinocchio's nose-growing disease, he'd be able to pole vault over Air Force One. And these are your choices, but they're not choices. Like I said, they're not choices because you don't actually get to choose. What are you going to do? Vote Libertarian? I'm going to my bunker. You can't do that. America, the world's greatest democracy, it's pretty much like a break-in at an orgy, okay? The only people not getting fucked are the people stealing from you. It's an election year in America, and you know...
Oh,
That is-
that's something?
That's brilliant, man. That is absolutely brilliant.
Such a great impression. I think the only one I can do is no, I can't do it. I was gonna say wow. Have I done my bananas impression? Bananas. That's Liam Neeson. Bananas.
Remember when he did a couple impressions for us for
I'm gonna
the
open the show with it.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
People are gonna hear that about an hour and 20 minutes ago.
Dude, like I still can't believe we got to talk to that dude. That was
He's
so much
fun, and
fun.
we'll have him back on, dude.
Absolutely.
Also, we
should have Fritz back too.
Yes, yes, top two, yeah, and of course, Mike's always.
And Bridal, yes, definitely.
Here's Rhino Romney talking about how he's fed up with election deniers.
So, we have I think approximately 70% of Republicans still say that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. It's like, are we going to abandon truth to that degree?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I mean, after all this time, all the courts that were, solicited to look into it, there's been no evidence of widespread fraud. Actually, most of the evidence I've seen so far has been Republicans trying to corrupt the election, and yet they continue to put it out there and promote it. It's like, how does a party survive in a setting like that? So,
Isn't that something?
Doesn't.
Well,
it's not the party anymore. It's the MAGA party. They're going to have a rebranding moment. It's going to be beautiful for them. Frog protection.
I'm trying not to let Hitler into the chat here.
Oh, well, no, that's perfect propaganda. Hitler's, or it was, just repeat it enough, right?
Yep.
And lies become the truth. I mean, they just repeat it. They have a great engine for that between, Fox News, right wing media,
Oh, yeah, and all the
entertainment complex. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Newt Gingrich. Real great machine you made there. I'm sure you intended something like this to have the keys. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, again, that's why me and you always get mad when like that was one of the things when things were just the simple old days of Trump just getting elected, 2016, none of the pandemic or all this shit. We were just like, at a minimum, I don't want the president to have too much power because you don't want it to be this guy. And then you don't want to put power into the next guy to undo that guy because you never know if it's going to be someone like that again. Like, you just stop giving so much power to the executive. Is why we were mad at Bush because of the unitary executive. And then here we have it.
100%. Yeah.
RFK, RFK Jr., I should say. The head of the New York State director of the RFK campaign in this clip is about to say that her entire goal is to get Trump elected.
Imagine that.
Right now, the way that I see it, and, things, I guess, will change over time because you do have to only pick one candidate at the end of the day. But the Kennedy voter and the Trump voter, the enemy, our mutual enemy is Biden. Whether you support Bobby or Trump, we all oppose Biden. 270 wins the election.
It's kind of weird, right? Because she could have as easily said the RFK and the Biden voter both. The enemy is Trump. Like, there's no reason why the enemy is the current president, right?
Absolutely.
Other than incumbency, I guess. I mean, I think that's a little simple-minded, right?
Definitely.
You're like, how about this? You don't need to take sides with either of them.
Right. You don't get to 270. If nobody gets to 270, then Congress picks the president. Right?
1824 election, what I've been saying.
Right now, we have a majority of Republicans in Congress. So who are they going to pick? Who are they going to pick if it's a Republican Congress? They'll pick.
He's literally saying her goal as the head of his campaign in the state of New York is for him to get enough electoral votes to prevent either candidate from getting to 270 so that the vote goes to the House. She just said that.
Trump. So we're rid of Biden either way. People kept continually telling me, wow, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. So, I'm kind of mulling it around. What should I do with this? What should I do with this? And then I got a call from the campaign, and, they were going to hire me as their New York State director. And I said, okay, I want to take the job, but I'm going to tell you right now that this is part of my messaging. And if I'm allowed right now, the way.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
That is quite something.
She took the job so that she could get Trump elected. That's his
That's
campaign.
her goal.
I mean, I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth.
No, that's what
His
she said.
campaign is hiring people that are fine with that.
And she told them up front that's what she was there to do, and they said, "Okay, you're hired."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was listening to Buzz and Bob Seska right before the show, and Buzz had some interesting polling data from Marquette Business School. So it's like
That must be new. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's like Siena College and all those other colleges.
Oh, Siena's always in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump, Biden 52, Trump 48. Biden, since February, or since, let's see, in the 6 weeks ending March 15th, Biden gained 4, Trump lost 4. That's an 8-point swing in the 6 weeks ending March 15th. This is the Marquette Law School poll. Undecideds, it's been theorized, they are coming to the realization it's going to be Trump and Biden. So a lot.
You remember, like 6 months ago, maybe just a few months ago, he's going to say a couple of weeks because that's what he's referring to. Remember when there was that poll that was like, Biden's doing dog shit, Trump's beating Biden in swing states, but likely Democrat voters, when given an option of an unnamed Democrat, that guy won in a landslide against anyone, right? Remember that poll?
I do. And I remember you saying that, look, those people are going to come around and be on Biden's side once they realize that's their only option.
Right, because they don't want to vote for Trump. And they're like, oh my God, someone other than Biden? Yes. And then those people are going to be pragmatic, most of them.
Yeah,
Well,
mostly.
the polls are starting to reflect what I'd said.
A lot of people are realizing, well, it's not going to be a third party. Kennedy doesn't have a chance. People are finally, remember, I did a poll a couple of weeks back where it's like nearly half the voters thought Trump would not be the candidate, and on the Republican side and on the Democratic side, half the voters or more didn't think Biden would be the candidate.
Yeah.
Well, they're now coming to realize that, no, these are going to be the candidates. And so now this is why I think the poll numbers are starting to shift.
Yeah.
So they're coming to the realization it's just going to be the two of them. Now, the fun question, by the way, among all voters, it's a 50-50 tie in the Marquette Law School poll, but even that's an improvement over the 51-49 Trump lead of 6 weeks ago.
By the way, if you look up this Marquette poll, the headline is 50-50 tie, but that's not like likely voters. I think the first thing was likely voters was 52-48, which is a totally different poll, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different categories in this poll. He's about to ask a little trivia question here. I think you'll have fun with this.
Yeah.
Now, I have one fun trivia question for you.
Okay.
What do you think, what demographic is Trump beating Biden 64-36?
Alan?
Non-college graduates above 45 years old.
You want to pick male, female there?
Oh, male.
Right. That's the classic Trump category, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You and Bob are in good company.
Trump is beating Biden 64-36 in one demographic. What do you think it is?
It would be non-college educated white men.
See, Alan, you're in
I was right there.
but you're wrong.
Oh, I guess it's even better than that, Bob.
Okay.
That Trump beats Biden 64-36 among people not registered to vote.
Isn't that something?
That's actually hilarious. That's very funny.
Oh yeah, but mail-in voting, that's the big problem. By the way, like I kind of have a problem with mail-in voting to an extent too.
Do you?
But yeah, I mean, just I do understand the potential for voter fraud
protection.
But the just let's not forget that.
Oh, because your brother got 2 ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just not forget the fact that like Republicans were the biggest users of mail-in voting for years until
For a long
Trump
time.
told them not to do it, and then he lost his election.
He actually probably lost because of that.
I know. It's hilarious. He could have just been like, let's have a fair fight, and
Right.
he won,
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, I thought that polling data was pretty interesting. Let's talk about some of Trump's trials. So this is something that was supposed to make big news Monday afternoon. I didn't hear anything. I know there was maybe the eclipse drowned it out in the media, but Fonnie Willis has apparently been making inappropriate phone calls.
By the way,
not in the type that with her former coworker, but apparently she's been recording phone calls where the other party was in a state where you need to have 2-party consent for it, and they're saying that should get her to step down.
He did reach out to us, my colleague, one of my colleagues in Maryland,
and was rude and abrupt with him on the phone. And he was dealing with the Maryland case. I was dealing with the Georgia case, and she ended up recording him. You know, Maryland is a one-party state. I mean, a two-party state. Both parties have to consent. I'm sorry.
So are you saying that she illegally recorded a phone call?
Oh, yeah, it's a felony in Maryland.
Oh, no.
Isn't that something?
I guess that person that was on the call, though, threatened to have further legal action if no response from her by noon on Monday. But we were all looking at the eclipse. We missed it. Sorry. They also called her a DEI thug, which is just all the right wing. Like, look at these old boomers, right? You see them?
I do see them.
Like DEI. So DEI is the new one, but thug is the old one, right? Like, you don't want to be racist, so you just call a black person a thug, right? Like that's so old that it's cringe for me to even call them out for that, because maybe they weren't doing that on purpose. That was like Bill O'Reilly in the 2000s, right? Calling Ludacris a thug, right? That was the thing, by the way. Bill O'Reilly and Ludacris have beef, and he got him fired from Pepsi. It was like a whole crusade, asshole.
Hey, just real quick before we move on to the
yeah.
next thing.
I'm not moving on. I'm still talking about this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, DEI.
No, I
want
want to
an
talk
election. Again, you can't say DEI if they're not appointed to that position.
True.
Yeah. Say your thing. Is there
Okay.
a new website?
So no. So yesterday, Scott McAfee, the judge in the Fulton County case, did make a ruling. He said that he did not see a conflict of interest in Willis keeping the case, so she could. But
will that go to the appeals court eventually?
Perhaps.
That circuit of appeals, that weird like appeals board. Georgia has an appeals board.
Yeah,
right?
it may. I think this would stand even if it did. The only thing he said is that Mr. Wade had to step aside, and that's already happened. So that's done. So yeah, she's going to keep the case.
This is like college football when a team gets in trouble for recruiting and they're like, but we already fired that guy. Look at, we sat out this bowl game against Nebraska or something.
Now you can't play championships for 5 years.
Yeah. Sorry.
And those ones you won, we take them away.
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. Okay.
Did I say one right that time?
I don't know. I wasn't listening. I was talking. Here's an example of, so political speech is free speech. It's First Amendment
protected speech.
This is the whole thing that's one of Trump's arguments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a good, I didn't pay attention in civics answer, but political speech is not always free speech. And there's examples in the Constitution or exemptions in the Constitution of it. Legal nerd is going to explain why and how Trump knows better. These are all just delay tactics.
But imagine I go out on this porch in Sausalito and I give a political speech and I say,
live in Sausalito? Is he in the Bay Area with you?
I guess, dude. That's actually, I think one of them's in San Francisco too. I was surprised when he said that. I was like, that's like right across the bridge for me.
I think you need to get a mission.
Dude,
yeah.
Can you imagine?
I can actually. Yes, we're gonna do it. Okay.
I'm Sausalito and I give a political speech and I say, give money to the Ben Wittes for President Fund, and then I spend that money on trinkets for me, and they have nothing to do with running for president. I can't argue, hey, you can't include the fact that I raised that money by giving a political speech, because the political speech was a scheme to raise money that I was going to steal. And so that's what the prosecutors are saying here. If political speech is integral to the commission of a crime and done with specific intent to commit the crime, you don't get to say, hey, but that was political speech. It's protected by the First Amendment.
I mean, so it's the same thing as attorney-client privilege. So you have attorney-client privilege. The attorney doesn't have to answer any questions that were, between him and them and their client. However, if the attorney and the client were having conversations about committing a crime, that is no longer protected speech. That's just that's not how that works.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Thing.
I've got former Trump lawyer, Weissman. So who the fuck is he? What does he know? Right. This is him talking about Trump wanted a change of venue. He did a change of venue petition.
Mm-hmm.
These are all still just delay tactics, right?
Yes.
I like what you said. I'm sorry. I was just reading the note about this before you finished. I apologize.
No worries.
Did I not respond friendly?
No, you did. You did.
Oh, okay.
argument that pretrial publicity is a reason to delay this case is one that, as we say in New York, is pure chutzpah. You don't get to open your mouth repeatedly about.
I think chutzpah. Did you recently learn the actual definition of chutzpah?
Oh,
It was on that Lawfare episode.
I think I do remember. I don't remember what it was.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay, do it.
It's a story of a kid who killed his parents, and his defense was, "Oh, you can't hurt me. Don't come after me. I'm an orphan." That's chutzpah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a whole other level of balls right there. Jeez.
Right. Yeah, but that, I mean,
Okay.
that's the mother.
I
of
knew
all
the
chutzpah.
general inference. I didn't know that backstory.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
recall
wild,
that.
right?
That is wild. Yeah.
The case and then say, I can't have a trial because I'm speaking so much about the case.
That's okay. That is actual. That's chutzpah. I see it.
That
With a large megaphone. The argument for change of venue is one that is a sure dead loser. When you've got a case of such notoriety that everywhere you go in the United States, people are going to hear about it, the idea that you need to transfer the case makes no sense. Neither of these motions has merit to it. I'd be very surprised if this put the trial off. It does, to your point, Nicole, though, really signal how much Donald Trump does not want the public to see the facts at a trial.
So here, button.
Isn't that something?
Basically, like if his whole thing is like this is a witch hunt, nobody's ever been more mistreated, he should be hurrying up to getting to make his point, right? Like there is no truly delaying this. Eventually, there's going to be a trial. So like just prove how much of a witch hunt it's been. Like that shouldn't be that hard if everything you're saying is so true and you have lawyers to represent you, right?
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, what we're talking about here is the Stormy Daniels case, which is scheduled to begin next Monday on the 15th of April. And so his lawyers are trying to delay the beginning of that case. That will be the first case in which a former president will be criminally tried in history, I believe. And it's so actually Ari Melber had Avenatti on.
That was my Ari Mel. I'm Ari Melbourne because he's British or Australian in my head.
Ari Melber's not
British. No, because it's Ari Melbourne.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
It's a great joke. It's really going over.
So
no,
he had Avenatti on, which people don't remember. He was the
totally forgot. He was that slime bag that scammed Nike while he was Stormy's lawyer, right?
Yes, exactly.
So like, jail, right?
Yes, he is 14 years.
Fucked up time.
Yeah, so it was so funny. He had him on, and it was via phone call, pre-recorded, because he's calling from fucking jail, which kind of
like Serial.
Yeah, it kind of reduces your credibility. But he was like, yeah, Donald Trump can't get a fair trial in New York. There's no way.
Hey, what?
Yeah,
said that?
Avenatti said that. And I was like, what the fuck? Dude, what are
Somebody's buying him cigarettes in jail.
Right? And like, you represented Stormy.
Stormy. Wow, that's wild. What do you infer from that?
Somebody's slipping him cigarettes. I don't know.
Like,
I mean, it was even Ari, like, obviously he'd already heard this audio because they pre-recorded it.
Yeah.
But like the look on his face, like hearing it even the second time or whatever, was pretty, and the guests hearing it was pretty impressive. People are like, what the fuck is this guy saying?
That sounds like red meat for the right. How come I didn't hear more of that? When was that?
Today, 4 p.m.
Oh man, okay.
Right before the show.
Memes. I've been busy and doing show prep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's hilarious. You saw that live?
Yes.
Oh man, I wish we had that. All right, we'll have it for the headline show.
Yeah.
What did you say? We get in a couple wackadoos. Go to lunch.
Let's do it.
All right. This one somebody sent it earlier in the week, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, but I sometimes it doesn't click for me that I need to share it to people. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't think of it as like show material. Like, dude, this is just dumb people shit. Like we have a role for that in the show. It's the wackadoos.
It's the wackadoo of the week. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, there's two. The other
two.
one I think is a little bit more of the the other one's just a song about wackadoos. So this is the
Dude,
true.
We should have a wackadoo tournament, like Brido's song.
We'll save them. We'll do craziest of the week, and that we can really do, because when we try to do news headlines, turns out you have to talk about tragic news headlines and say that's not the bigger deal.
Right.
That stopped being fun right away.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
we could have wackadoo headlines. Okay, so we'll save extra.
We could have Brido on to do it.
That'll be really fun.
That would be really fun.
I'll remember that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can I play this clip?
So everybody says if you take the coordinates to the Miami Mall and you reverse them.
So the Miami Mall is the that's where like people said there was aliens showed up or whatever.
Okay. So if you reverse the coordinates,
if you can reverse the coordinates, it takes you through a portal to
Put
because
them through
that
a-
was the other thing. They thought aliens showed up at the Miami Mall, so people were saying there was a portal in the Miami Mall. Yeah.
okay, I can't
It'll
wait.
put you in Antarctica.
Yeah, it's a fucking grid system, dude. Latitude, longitude. It's a grid system. Yeah, that's how it works.
So all this talk of portals and stuff opening up, right? You change the north to east and change the west to south. That's it. It puts you right in Antarctica. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that
Something
crazy?
hanging right up above the equator happens to take you near the pole when you switch to
Except it isn't, dude. It isn't. Have you ever seen a graph?
I love this guy. Patreon members, I love this guy's wallpaper. Look at those pine. Damn it, Natasha. She's got me into wallpaper. I'm seeing it everywhere.
It's not that crazy. I want to be an idiot. I want to be dumb, dude. Because you gotta be dumb to just, somebody told me if you mix these numbers, then that's a portal to another. No further questions.
Now watch this. Watch what happens when I change the south and the east to north and west.
Oh.
Look where it puts me.
Is it putting you on the other side of the graph, dude? Are you on the other side of the graph?
The North Pole. Well, this is Greenland technically, but it's right there by the North Pole.
It's Greenland.
Now, what are the odds of that?
It is a grid system. The odds are pretty fucking good, dude. Have you never seen a graph? It's more than the L. You can go up, you can go down.
I am trying not to cry.
That's fucking retarded.
That was hilarious.
Great. I love his react. Okay, well,
That's so good.
You know, a good show would go to lunch on a high note.
Right.
That's a lot of confidence in this blues song.
we
Did
go.
you enjoy your eclipse, Alan? Did your sky get
Yeah.
dark at all? Did you get a sliver over there?
It was like a 30%.
We had
Sorry.
clouds.
Oh, you could see it.
Well, I could see it. So I would describe most of the people that I've talked to about this as two reactions. Wow, that was incredible. I feel so fortunate to have gotten to see that. And nothing happened. Much ado about nothing. Like literally a guy walked by. I'm not going to call him out on my podcast. Too close to work. I was at work and somebody of importance there was like, much ado about nothing. I'm like, are you that uncurious? Like, is that your world? Like, that's how you walk around? It was amazing. So here's the deal with the clouds.
Here's the deal, Wade.
They weren't really heavy clouds, so the clouds would part a little bit. And because the clouds were there, you could just look right at it. Like this isn't like a sunny day, and not, like if you have like a light, it's doing the job of filtering out the
glasses.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had sunglasses on, so I was just looking through sunglasses at it through the clouds. And then once the clouds would part all the way, I'd put my eclipse glasses on, and I got to see it like the full like corona effect of it.
Did you get totality out there?
We had like 95%, something.
nice,
Like that. It was enough that like it really looked.
Yeah,
like-
yeah. Could
But
you see
thing
the
is,
solar flare?
I didn't see solar flare, no, but
Oh,
that's like with a zoom. You couldn't see that with the naked eye.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not big. That was the thing is like if you put your glasses on right when it switched over, like when the clouds would part, if you put your glasses on, it would take you a second for your eyes to adjust and for you to be able to see it. And all it looked like was a little orange or red ring around a black dot with everything else black. And then people are like, oh yeah, well, we couldn't see anything because we looked at it through the cloud. It's like, that's probably a better view of it than through the
Probably,
glasses
yeah.
that people are like losing their shit over. It's like people just can't enjoy it. And then, oh, by the way, remember there's a bunch of stuff about them firing off rockets and doing tests, and they're starting.
Oh yeah,
CERN.
martial law.
Yeah, yeah, and they were going to start CERN again too. So they were doing the large hard-on colliders.
Dude, speaking of CERN,
what?
I got something fun to talk about in media on the Friday show.
Oh, okay, about CERN.
Yeah.
Is it a documentary or
No, it's fiction.
Okay. This is the Eclipse Blues, Dale Watson.
Well, the moon's gonna cover up the sun. Everybody about to go insane. You know, it's happened a million times before, but this time's a different thing. NASA's gonna fire 3 rockets right on into the sun. Some little boys in Switzerland's gonna turn a particle collider on. We gonna die. Maybe not. We gonna die. All looking up in the sky. We won't see what's up. We gonna die. This is it. Tell the bank I ain't paying my car note or mortgage till after the eclipse. That's right. I ain't gonna pay it. Why do I need to pay that? Take a cheeseburger, fried and cold. Big old piece of cake. After that, I'll have a smoke. Pour myself a nice stiff drink. I ain't gonna go to the gym, comb my hair, or even shave. I can't help but feel a little deja vu of Y2K. We gonna die, maybe not. Everybody looking up in the sky. We won't see what's up. We gonna die. This is it. Well, tell the bank I ain't paying my car note or mortgage till after the eclipse.
That was great, right?
Dude, that was really good.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe
you
should
know
have been
what?
in the show. That's good for going to lunch.
Dude, is he channeling John Prine or is it just me? Like,
Oh, it's a little bit of that. Yeah, yeah. I think there's a little bit more like Texas swing to it, but solo.
that's catchy as fuck, dude. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
good shit. Yeah.
By the way, there's an eclipse every 18 months. Like, what was NASA like waiting for this one for some reason? Like, what a dumb thing. Like,
so stupid.
All right, talk to you in a little bit.
All right, cheers. Cough right into the microphone. Good job, Al. God damn. I decided to start the second half with a hat, so you know.
Oh, I'll put a hat on.
You see me in all my HD glory.
Wearing my Grand Canyon hat from my buddy James.
Hell yeah.
My best
your
friend
best
James.
buddies.
Yeah. Oh, did you see I moved Grandma into the frame?
Oh, I see that.
Oh.
Dude, you know what I forgot to mention was that Thrash called me last week.
Oh yeah, talk about. I was like, can you talk about that on the show?
Dude,
I was
he was-
out and he was drunk chatting the group chat.
It was hilarious, dude. He was on vacation, essentially, took some time off work, and him and his buddies were heading up to the Smokies. He posted a bunch of stuff on Insta today, lots of cool pictures. But he was having a very good time when he called me, and I got to say hello to many of his friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long were you talking for?
I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It was a while.
Dude, that's sick. No
Yeah.
kidding. Oh yeah, he called me on. Did he call you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a missed call, and then another DM that said, like, "Dude, I called you." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't see the call, but I see that I missed one." Yes.
I was in Berkeley, and I was like, let's talk to
Okay,
Thrash.
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
It was fun.
Yeah, I think the story was he was hanging out with the cool parents.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And then they
Remember
were
those
heading-
days where it was like, it's okay, we can go to this house because they're
Oh.
all the parents know that this dad's there, so it's fine.
My parents' house was that house.
Oh, no shit.
Well,
You
not
were-
when I was growing up, but for my siblings, it was. Yes.
Oh, that sucks. Not for
Yeah.
you, huh?
Not for me.
No.
We were religious back in the day, you know.
Yeah. You were a pescatarian, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
All about fish.
Aren't we at the age by now that, like, if being vegetarian was going to make you live forever, we'd have like 130-year-old vegetarians?
One would think.
Like,
Yeah.
they've been doing this for a while now, right?
Quite a
Well,
while.
none of these promises have come true. And I'm supposed to take them serious about climate change, right, Alan?
I was, dude, I was out. This was a long time ago, but I was out with a colleague of mine. A bunch of us, we went out for dinner, like after a conference or something, and he ordered vegetarian food, and I was like, he ordered like one of those like alternate meat burger things,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Are you vegetarian?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Have you? How long have you been vegetarian?" He's like, "Since like college," and this dude was like 50 at the time. And I was like, oh, because this dude, you would not, he was quite portly, I would say.
You can eat a lot of, turns out Oreos are vegan.
Yeah, turns out bread and butter is vegan as well. I mean, you can, so is cake, if you do it right.
You didn't use any egg in this, did you? Okay, fine. Yeah.
Anyways, it cracked me up.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about Ozempic pretty soon, actually.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to talk about this sort of bridges the gap between Trump's trials and doing the Trump cult.
Mhm.
Do you think the common public knows that the Fulton County Justice Department was hacked?
No, I don't.
That's a weirdly specific hack that nobody talks about, and it feels like it should be like we should be talking about the fact that the county where the president is being tried had a weirdly specific cyber attack.
The only trial that is a state trial, not federal, in the
Right.
entire all of these trials. Yeah, you know what? I hadn't even really thought about it that much. I was vaguely aware of it, but yeah, that is
I
actually.
guess they all agreed that it wasn't worth mentioning that, but that seems.
Yeah,
I guess there's a good reason for it, but I doubt it. Also, because
it's probably the same Russians that did the directed energy weapon. Yeah, probably the same.
Oh
guys.
yeah, probably. What
21559 or
Oh,
something.
we have all the energy weapons, though. What are you talking about?
They-
21559.
Yeah, it's the name of the GRU group that.
Oh, Cody was talking about that.
Yeah.
Is that in your Three Dangerous Men?
No, that was so. I watched the 60-minute segment about the Havana Syndrome that we talked about last Friday, and they bring that up, and it seems pretty obvious. You can kind of follow the breadcrumbs that they were involved. It seems.
Well, speaking of eating breadcrumbs.
Oh, I remember this.
More about Donald Trump losing weight.
The latest pictures of a very slim-looking Donald Trump has created a lot of buzz.
I really love the India Today news source in English, so it's like for the English audience that wants to get their India Today.
Very, very busy background. It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
A lot of stimulus.
Yeah.
Well, you drive around in that traffic, Alan. You're probably able to deal with anything. It takes a lot of attention to keep and hold that. I don't.
Yeah.
How else can I stereotype that, Alan? Is that one good enough?
I think that was That was enough. Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures of him from Easter's?
I have.
He's got a little neck badge where he tied his tie, and it's like folded over his like loose skin because he's lost all that weight.
Yeah.
You got to get in that nussy, Alan.
I saw it. Oh God.
What?
Ugh.
Just
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Are you like this?
I'm gonna lean towards pussy.
That's what you say. All right.
It's well documented on the show.
You see his neck like that, and you're like,
want to see my dick?
How about I can give you a little bit more than that?
The ultimate load.
There we go, Alan. All right. Anyway, so they make a bunch of TV noises, and then they talk about it a little bit more.
Production value.
From fat to fit. The latest images of Donald Trump have sent the internet into a tizzy.
Imagine Fox doing this, or CNN, from fat to fit. Like, wow, right?
That's hilarious.
You only get this from India Today.
Yeah, you can get away with that shit over there.
From fat to fit.
That is hilarious.
From fat to fit. The latest images of Donald Trump have sent the internet into a tizzy.
A tizzy.
Here is Trump in an Easter family portrait published by his son Donald Trump Jr. on Instagram.
Right?
And looks like he's dropped some.
And I've seen him like when we're going to show his he decided to make a statement about abortions, which I wonder why. He made in that video, I was like, his face looks different. He looks more aged, like there's more loose skin or whatever, right?
Some serious pounds. Trump's weight has long been a sensitive subject, particularly for the former US president himself. For example, when he was arrested, Trump claimed he was 6 feet 3 inches and 215 pounds, which would put him on par with NFL quarterbacks. No wonder then, curiosity around the svelte-looking Trump is also exploding, with some claiming that he was on Ozempic, a drug that is used as a weekly injection to lower blood sugar by helping the pancreas make more insulin.
Big Pharma got to it.
While Ozempic is not technically approved for weight loss, Wegovy, a medication that contains higher amounts of semaglutide than Ozempic, is approved for chronic weight management in individuals with a BMI of 30 and higher. In the
She's
past,
like reading words in order and just pausing when she wants to. Like instead of it being like a drug that is not approved that contains higher volumes of the active ingredient, she's like then has the higher ingredient active. I don't know. I'm doing a bad job, but you picked up on that.
I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Trump has denied taking Ozempic or Wegovy for weight loss and has instead claimed that he lost weight naturally. But the big question is a skinner Trump a more electable choice for the US president? Bureau
Skinner
Report,
Trump?
India Today.
Skinner Trump.
Skinner Trump.
Was that an AI Indian lady? That seems even racist if it was.
I don't know.
I don't think they would have had to do that, right?
She looked real. I don't know.
Didn't, well, we didn't hear her. That was first. Alan, they're not all the same. That was two different people. God. All right. So, do you want to move into this? He looks different in this. That's a different face, right?
His face is more narrow. Yeah.
Gaunt, more gaunt for him. Gaunt for him.
Yes.
So he came out and gave. So I think Monday morning or maybe it was Sunday night, I started seeing things that were like, look forward to the statement from me tomorrow. People have been asking me my stance on abortion. It's like, nobody's been asking that. Like, I feel like we kind of know your stance. Like, you know, you got people elected that overturned Roe versus Wade. We know in general your stance. Like, what on earth are you going to say that's the subtle difference that makes you like a more electable candidate to like the average person? Like we know your stance. Like there were major effects from it, and it's actually costing your party every time it comes up in an election. So why on earth are you touching this? Right? It was weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do know his stance is that he would be he would be pro-choice if it were himself involved.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But politically, he understands that to appeal to a certain base, he needs to be
oh yeah, but we also know he said this running as a candidate.
You believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle? The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment. For the woman?
For the woman.
Yeah, there has to be some form.
All right, well, so just in case that was up for debate, I mean...
Well, I mean, so part of the reason this is blown up is the passing of that law.
I wasn't trying to... Okay, go ahead.
Passing of the law in Arizona
No,
where
say that again. It talked over it, and that's
Okay.
coming up. That's coming up.
Okay, then let's get there then.
That's
I'll,
not a
I'll
lot.
wait. I'll
The
wait.
thing that happened today that's news?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I like it when you bring things up on the show, but don't do that one right now, okay?
Okay, got it.
Anyway, so this is Trump. God, look at his face. It's so weird. I
It's
swear
very-
he's getting towards doing blackface at this point, right? Like, unless you think C-SPAN did him dirty, this is his video, right?
He used the wrong filter.
Dude, what is going on with his part? He's got it parted down the middle and the comb over.
Yeah.
That's new.
That is new. Maybe you got a new hairdresser.
All right. Anyways.
Is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded.
No.
No, that's not true at all.
Oh, I gotta know.
It was like 5 decades of legal precedence. Like that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I had black
Damn
friends
it, it's
growing
right
up.
next to it. I didn't mean to. I was trying to hit Nikki saying no again.
Be ended. Roe v. Wade.
Nobody
They
else?
wanted it ended.
No,
My
no.
view is that.
Not both sides. God, I keep pausing. This is a great. Look at how white his teeth are, though.
They are pretty white.
Maybe it's just contrast to that blackface he's doing, though. I mean, people make that stereotype. I don't, but like, look at how much makeup he has on.
Now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both. And whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state.
Does he think that was cute, or is he just ad-libbing this?
I think somebody told him to say that, and so he's saying it.
Many states will be different. Many will
Oh,
have
will
a
they?
different number of weeks, or
States'
some will
rights.
have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart, or in many cases, your religion or your.
Nothing about that would have been any different had they not overturned Roe versus Wade. You could
No.
have followed your heart or your religion
Yeah.
and not done it, right? So, like,
has
I said,
many
I'm
Bibles in
pro-choice.
his home.
I'm pro-choice on. I always forget that pro-choice is the word for pro-abortion being legal, because it's like I just think of pro-choice as like everything that I'm for.
Sure.
Like name me something. I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be a rough one, but I think you should give me the choice. Yes.
Your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do
What
what's
if you won't
right
let me do
for
what's
our
right for
country
myself?
and vote. So important to vote. At the end of the day, it's all about will of the people. That's where we are right now, and that's what we want, the will of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I am
Well, you lost by 7 million votes, so you really want to be talking about that?
strongly in favor of exceptions for
Oh, he compared himself to Ronald Reagan. They're cutting ahead a lot through this. I think he refers to himself, or he refers to Ronald Reagan like 3 or 4 times.
He likes doing that.
Well, I think he's noticed that he has not been very Reagan-like, and I think he's trying to be like, me, just like Ronnie.
incest and life of the mother. You must follow your heart of this issue, but remember, you must also win elections to restore our culture and, in fact, to save our country, which is currently and very sadly a nation in decline.
So that line was just about that. That was the whole thing. So, like, I my opinion on this is that some internal polling, which is going to be more accurate than nationwide polling, some internal polling of their base and the people that they can count on to vote had showed that he's been slipping with people that are upset with that not having the right. I'm sorry. I am oftentimes a conservative on issues. So like, I like having freedom to choose to do something. I don't like, let me put that differently. I don't like the way it feels to have a assumed right taken away from me. Even if you're going to tell me something bad about it, and fuck you, don't fucking take that decision away from me. I resent that. And there's people that are a lot more conservative than me. And they became that way, not because talk radio told them to, because that's like their personality type. They're going to be bothered when you take a right away from them. And that's the middle. That's not extremes. That's not someone that got persuaded by your culture war bullshit. These are Americans. They're just normal fucking people that don't like you. Like, at the end of the day, I just don't think this is something that government had to get in and stop people from doing.
Yeah, one's ability to choose is basic freedom. And there are people, as you said, on all sides of the spectrum who are like, just fucking leave me alone. Let me do what I want, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else. Like, that's
yeah. No,
and you can believe whatever you want. You can have your whatever religion you want. I don't care. Like, just leave me the fuck alone.
But he's saying this now. He's like, it's going to be state by state to decide on it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But Project 2025, literally the blueprint, like they
They
were
want
like,
to federalize it. Yeah.
like it's just like Project 2025. I know we seem to do this every week. They recognized that in the last time Trump was elected, they didn't have the right people in place. They didn't expect to win. They weren't set up to go the way they had hoped that it could have been. Like in hindsight, that's their like postmortem of how that could have been done better.
Sure.
So they spent the last 4 years making a plan for if he can get back in office so that they can hire all the people. They've already hired people at like the Iowa State Fair and shit. Like there's booths set up where it's like, do you want to be hired in the federal government after Trump fires everybody on day one, like, and replaces them with people that have signed a loyalty oath, and they like sign a loyalty oath at the fair, and they're gonna get fucking hired for like EPA positions or whatever's left in the EPA. I don't know why I picked that one, but like Project 2025 is the blueprint for how they want to run the country. And their staffing and everything, right? Well, part of Project 2025 is to federally ban abortions.
Yes.
So he's just look, the man wants to get reelected. I get it. The man's trying to get reelected. That's what he said there. That's all that he said. And he said nothing, by the way. He's like, you follow your heart, something that if you choose to do it, I took away from you. Like, this is such a gift for Democrats.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with it.
Well, people tried to. Did you see a few places tried to normalize? They said like, "Oh, look, this is like remember when Trump bombed Syria, or no, he dropped that Moab in Afghanistan or something." And they were like, "Well, this is very presidential. All of a sudden, this is his first presidential act." Like I saw places. I used to listen to Jordan Is My Lawyer. I'm done, man. The last few days, I've been like, "You're kind of making false equivalences there." And then on this one, she's like, "So this is Trump moderating his position." I'm like, "No, it's not. This is him saying he is." And then she like pats her back and says, like, "You're not going to hear that from places that aren't non-biased like me." I'm like, you don't have to be blind. Like this is clearly what's happening. I'm not asking you to editorialize as much as we are, but like don't like that's a lie to say he's moderated his position. No,
it is.
Like he's seen the way that this is hurting his campaign.
I always found her tone a little bit condescending. I don't know.
She talks like a hot girl.
Yeah, she does.
I kind of liked that.
So I'm like not attracted to it, and you are. That's funny.
Yeah, that makes sense there. Right?
Makes perfect sense, actually.
So he's tried to distance himself from it, but like he's doing is underscoring how extreme the Republican supermajority is in places like Tennessee and Arizona. Arizona is like the entire best of the right. So save it, Alan. Save it. You're right. This does come up in today's news.
Okay.
But nothing he said in that would be impossible prior to Dobbs. That was the thing that kind of bugs me the most about that video. It's like, what? So follow your heart. Like you set all this shit in motion. It's costing you every time it's on the ballot in Kansas and Ohio and Kentucky, right? I think
cost them in 22 for sure.
Yep. And it's going to come up in Florida and it's going to come up in Arizona. We're going to play that clip in a minute. But every time it's on the ballot, it drives out Democratic voters, and it's all like it's just like it's not it. I don't think this video is going to help. I don't think he said anything that makes a difference in that video.
Yeah, it's not just Democratic voters. It's voters who would ordinarily not care that much about politics and maybe wouldn't vote at all. They're more centrist. That based on this single issue, will be like, okay, I actually have to,
exactly
be involved here.
Yeah, exactly. A lot like the people that woke up in 2016 and decided they wanted to elect a TV game show celebrity, like. Yeah, they were like, I don't know. I like what he's saying, and you're telling me this or Bill Clinton's wife. Like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking. I know she has more qualifications, and I'm talking about that person's perspective. Anyway, I'm sorry, the Benghazi lady.
Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and.
I just love that phrase. Many people. That's his thing, right? Many people are saying. Many people are asking me what my position on abortion is. Who are these fucking people?
Abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that.
I didn't mean to play this whole damn thing again. I guess I won't have to play it. He brought up this thing in it again. You know what? You don't have to hear him saying it to believe me. I'm sure maybe you've already heard that whole audio where he talks about post-term abortions. And it drives me crazy because that. First of all, the only reason that he talks about that is because it was asked of, is it Hogan, the former Virginia governor that lost that race in the culture war to, is it Larry Hogan? Well, anyways, he basically fumbled at describing it, and the right was able to run with it and say that there's post-term abortions. it's when a child is born with such a physical deformity or some kind of, horrific
Genetic
condition.
disease or whatever.
Yeah, that they're gonna die a suffering death,
Mhm.
or they can cause suffering to the baby to keep them alive futilely.
Mhm.
Or you can choose what you would hope for yourself, to die painlessly. And, and it's just disgusting because Trump takes that and goes,
We execute the baby.
it's like it, and he brought it up in this video again too. And so it's just, imagine now you're the opposite of that person that's like, I just want to make sure that if you're taking rights away from me, I'm going to go out and vote against you. There's a number of people out there that are like, oh my God, the Democrats kill babies because they don't want a baby after they have birth. That's
How'd they
what
get
they're
the
saying it
adrenochrome?
is, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like there's a reason why they don't get into it when they explain that, when they say that, right? Because they want
Absolutely.
you to assume that that's what's happening. That's
Probably
disgusting politics. Like there's dirty pool. That is disgusting to paint your opponent like that.
It's awful. It's awful. Larry Hogan, former governor of Maryland.
Oh, that's
I
really
think
good.
you had the story right. Yes.
I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, do I have to get another video ready? I'm sorry. I got all worked up.
So I do agree that the way Trump has dealt with this issue is atrocious. And he's clearly doing it for the same reason he's selling Bibles and saying he has multiple in his home. It's political. It's all politics. And that's all this is.
Yep.
And I will continue to say this. The people who are attracted to Trump, who are far-right Christians, blow my fucking mind. How can you have any sort of
tell them to do something?
No, like how can you have any conviction and believe what you believe and act on it and live your entire life based on
They
this
know he's
structure?
lying. They know he's lying.
And like it's obvious. It's so clear. Like how can you sign up for this project given your priors? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I know a lot of Christians that don't fall.
So do I. So
Yeah.
do I. So do
Yeah.
I. But the ones that do,
well, okay, I would say those are probably the ones that believe, snake stories and stuff like that.
Not always.
Yeah.
I've encountered people that aren't, I would
I
ordinarily
guess what I'm trying to say is like there's a percentage.
Sure, there always will be.
About
Like
3% of our national population is retarded.
There's a number.
that's not what I was saying. I was just people that hold those convictions and that faith and live their life structured around that entire thing and that are willing to vote for this dude. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then you have like super Catholic Joe Brandon over there, right?
Sure.
Like
No.
can't vote for
Arr.
him. Arr. I think we're one more thing here on the right before. No, two more things here on the right. How's Truth Central going?
Oh, I don't know. DJT Media stock. It's funny. It doesn't even come up when you do it like that. Oh shit! It's down to $37 a share.
It's below 40s.
Holy fuck, dude! Dude, it was in the it was in the 60s last week.
And it was like 43.
It's
He had lost $3 billion.
Bro, this is like 50% of the value in a month.
Yeah, but if he
Jesus
gets
Christ.
500 million out of it, that's pretty good, right? That'll cover his legal fees.
Oh, he's gonna, like I said before, he's gonna walk away with a bag for sure. Everybody else is gonna be left holding. But god damn, 37.28.
Wow, dude, that's pretty bad.
I
mean, yeah, we don't have to rehash that whole subject.
Yeah.
Here's some interesting news about the Trump media company, how it was kept afloat. Of course, we have to listen to, what's this lady's name? Robin something?
No. Reed, Joy Reed.
Joy Reed, yeah. She clicks with her tongue a lot.
She does.
Like at the end of, or her lips and her tongue at the end of sentence. It really bugs the fuck out of me. If you can get past that, there's some pretty interesting allegations in this.
Was kept afloat by these loans. Who is this businessman?
It's a Russian-American guy called Anton Postelnikov. First of all, he owns this.
Anton Postelnikov. You heard her click twice there, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was the guest, but I think it was.
They might both be being.
They might.
Bank in Anton Postelnikov. First of all, he owns this bank in Dominica, this Caribbean island that's most well known for servicing the porn industry. But so
the bank services the porn industry, not Dominica. It doesn't need to get slandered in such a way.
Postelnikov also controls, as far as our reporting shows.
I'm sorry, the bank that bailed out Truth Central or Trump Media is a porn bank. Sperm bank.
It makes
So
perfect sense
controls
that
as far as our
right
reporting
wing religious
shows.
people would follow it.
I
Follow
know.
him.
The ES Family Trust account, and this is this very shadowy trust which has an account at his own bank.
Yeah.
And is coincidentally the vehicle used to funnel $8 million to Trump media in late 2021 and 2022. And
does he have some connections to Vladimir Putin?
So he is the nephew of a guy called Alexander Smirnov, who was a former first deputy justice minister in Russia for the Kremlin. And he's now the director of FSUE Rosneft, which is this maritime shipping company.
Right. That's not what he's famous for.
Why do I know that name?
Famous for something more recently. He was the guy that was feeding bullshit to the FBI and is arrested now.
Right.
Yes, that was the guy that was saying Hunter.
I knew that name. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the brother or whatever of the head of the bank that kept Trump's media company afloat 21 and 22, the porn bank, is the brother of the guy giving the Hunter Biden
story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know Russia. We're making this up, right? Trump derangement syndrome.
Dude. You don't need a lot of string to draw the lines between
I mean, maybe
those
it's a
dots.
coincidence, right? Like,
Sure.
it could happen to any of us. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he was the guy that was feeding Cummer all those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Slickett sent this in. This is about how the right or Trump's new staff, if he gets reelected, it won't be all the hodgepodge of we'll get some executives in there, like they brought in that Exxon guy, Rex Tillerson, right?
In a second term, it's not going to be heroes, it's not going to be survivors, it's going to be supplicants. And that's by design. There were no heroes inside the Trump administration. There were only survivors. Donald Trump realized very late in his first term that he had far too many people who went to bed and grew a conscience every night and came back in with the little inklings of a conscience to say no and push back. He doesn't want those people around. His preference is for that Oval Office to be an echo chamber. That's what he wants, and it's what he'll get. And very few people realize he's found ways to make that happen. At the end of the Trump administration, the person that was your Secretary of Homeland Security, my former colleague Chad Wolf, was in the job for a year and a half. A federal judge later concluded he was in that post illegally. He should have been confirmed by the United States Senate. You know what the consequences were? There weren't consequences. They learned a very valuable lesson there, which is Trump can put whoever the hell he wants into these jobs.
Just do it.
Acting,
in a second.
right? When he always had the acting, he had so many acting secretaries, right? And because it's like, well, they'll do what I tell them to, and they don't even have to get confirmed by the Senate.
I mean, we've
It's
talked
not my
about
fault that the Senate won't confirm my guys.
right. We've talked about this for a while about how there essentially will be a loyalty oath that people will have to sign up for to work in government. That's just how he's going to do it. He's said it out loud. Like that's what we know he's going to do. And so you're going to end up with people who are unqualified, have no experience doing whatever he's putting them in place to do. But the only thing that matters to him is that they're loyal to Trump. That's it.
Yep. Well, let's get into the best of the right. We're going to come back after this clip. We're going to get back to that abortion talk in Arizona. As Alan, it's in the back of my head. You got me, man. You're psyching me out with wanting to talk about that. So this is, I don't think this clip is about The Rock. That's what's on the Chiron. My note on this is how extremists sound when they like start to wake up to reality.
Okay. We know a lot of Trump supporters.
This is Fox News. This is that one lady that's just a fucking psycho. I don't know her name. And then the other lady is the one that's always is it Tarlov? Jessica Tarlov, is that right?
It sounds right. I'm not sure.
I think Jessica Tarlov. Yeah. Jessica Tarlov. She's the one that's kind of always being a little bit like, you're kind of shocked that people on Fox are talking like that, right? So this is Judge Janine asking her this.
Oh, Janine
Do
Pierre.
we need to be deprogrammed? Be careful.
That's why I come to work every day.
You know a lot of Trump supporters.
Her.
Do we need to be deprogrammed? Be careful.
It's like, I don't know. I don't think you ask that without being aware. I mean, am I being optimistic there? I'm hearing it now and not hearing it the way I did the first time.
I don't know. I don't think you ask that unless you understand what you're going to get, probably. But
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that's the way someone talks when they're like, do I really need to stop drinking? Like, you know, like,
right.
In a room full of all their family members crying. No, they couldn't get the pinata, and I don't have a blindfold, and we don't have all day. There's a game starting at 2. All right. So let's talk about Arizona. So before we can talk about what Alan wants to talk about in Arizona, we have to talk about what happened last night in Arizona. So last night in Arizona, they had a prayer circle inside the state Senate, I believe. And what you're
just
going to
like the founding fathers would have wanted.
Just like the founding fathers wanted. So this is hard to hear. That's why I'm giving you so much background. It's going to sound like a bunch of gibberish. That's because it is gibberish. They're praying in tongues. You must not be Pentecostal.
Let it be so, Father God. Let it be so. Let it be so.
Doesn't it look like they're playing with a train set?
It does.
I wish they had snakes.
Lord, right now we just release the presence of the Lord in the Senate chamber. We just release the hovering glory of God Almighty in the Senate chamber. We just pray right now, Lord God, over every desk.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, that sounds like the cult stuff from Uriah.
Dude, I was trying to see if I have that. Yeah, talk.
If you pull up his Instagram, I think he has some post Uriah jokes or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally, dude.
When
That is
chanting in the car.
yes.
Stuff.
That is wild. That's in a government building with people who are elected to be in office.
Well, guess what? All their prayers came true. This is the power of prayer, Alan.
Of course they did.
So that was in preparation for news of today. The Supreme Court was making a decision about whether an 1864 law is enforceable.
We're following this breaking news out of Arizona, where the state Supreme Court just made a monumental abortion decision, prospectively enforcing a 159-year-old mandate that is far stricter than the current law that's in place.
If they just had more mandates, they wouldn't have to worry about abortions.
It's fair.
Right, banning abortion at any point by penalty of prison. All right, we're following this breaking news out of Arizona.
Is he writing down mandates?
So this is 1864. This goes back to an 1864 law. Arizona wasn't even a state in the U.S. until
That's a good point.
1912.
Weren't they busy? Weren't we having a civil war?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong, with a fucking 200-year-old legislation?
The context of the Civil War. This is like every once in a while that meme starts circulating around about how A1 was founded during the Civil War. It's like, yeah, we got 2 priorities: having the perfect thing to put on a steak, other than ketchup, right, Alan?
Right.
And, okay, go on. I'm sorry.
So this law bans abortion.
15 weeks, right? Or no, previously it was 15 weeks, right? This
Yeah,
is
now
banned,
it's just
right?
outright ban.
And
Unless
it's like, aren't there like bounties? Isn't it like Texas or like?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can charge
And then
people criminally for supporting.
yes, and a doctor can go to jail for
That's
like 2 to 4 years. It's not just a
Wow.
fine. And there's supposed to be exceptions for if the woman's life is is on the line. However, how are you going to prove that in court? I don't know.
Well, and how is a hospital going to be comfortable giving that that
authorization for that to happen based
right.
on
And that's what you mean about proving it in court,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Not
I
the
mean, based on
individual healthcare.
based on the legal exposure, nobody's going to do it. Like essentially, that's what that means.
Or at a minimum, you won't have proper equipment to give that type of care.
Right. Correct.
That's
Correct.
Those are all the grounds. And that's what people don't fucking think about when they just make something illegal. It's like, great, congratulations, making a black market. This worked out so well with the war on drugs. Or abortions prior to it being legal. Like, we don't even have to make up another scenario.
No, we
Like,
don't.
The hanger joke existed for a reason. Joke.
They made a whole movie about it.
Did
they? Yeah.
That was about beating your kids, Alan. That wasn't. Are you talking about Mommy Dearest?
No.
No wire hangers in this house. No wire hangers in this room. Not funny. Not funny. Not funny.
What was that movie called?
Mommy Dearest.
No, I'm thinking of a different movie.
Oh, okay. Well, when it comes back to you.
Okay.
So in the state of Arizona, there's a requirement. There's a weird requirement of signatures required to get something as a state constitutional amendment on the ballot. Okay.
Right. Yes. Yes.
The signature requirement is 383,923.
Okay. And they already have?
They have 500,000 signatures. But Alan, that's not the point here. That's a weird number.
That is a weird number.
It must be a percentage of the state population, right?
I mean, yeah, that's how you would get a number like that, I imagine.
So they have enough signatures, and they're just waiting to put it as a ballot measure for this election, which they said at the latest would be like June or July, one of the J months.
Okay.
I think Natasha's back from youth group.
Youth group.
Do you hear that?
I do hear that.
Hold on. Okay. All right.
Settle! Hey! It's okay.
We'll just keep doing the show.
Okay. Sorry, I was distracted. I'm trying to find the name of that movie and I can't find it.
I don't think you should Google whatever your prompts are.
Yeah, I probably should.
What you said, yeah. Do you want to make fun of the left?
Sure, let's do it.
So the women's tournament is over, but there's a lot of hype around it. Probably the biggest star in women's basketball, if not history, and since like Candace Parker, right, or Brittany Griner.
100%.
Biggest news in women's basketball since Brittany Griner was arrested and freed in Russia.
Yes,
still working on that joke. So the she's a shooter. What's her name? I already forgot her name. Caitlin Clark from Iowa. Made it to the national championship, so it was a big deal. The games were fun. I watched some, and I don't know. Like I don't really feel like it's remarkable or noteworthy that I watched women play basketball. I mean, it is kind of. I don't normally watch it. I don't really feel like talking about it though. It was fine. It was good. This is like when you. It's like I don't want to admit to it. Like I watched it. It was good. It was fine.
It was good. South Carolina won,
Yeah.
and they have an incredible player as well. I mean, yeah, it feels like women's basketball is on the come up right now. People are paying attention to it, and they for good reason. They have good players. So
yeah, but the best players are out there in the WNBA now, so we'll see. So Kamala made some really good points. They talked to Kamala, like, remember when they had the brackets, and it was like,
oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was fun.
Can we just try it with Kamala and see if it's cool? In fact, they did do women's brackets with Kamala in 2021. That comes up in a moment.
Do you know? Okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? Think about that, and talk about progress, better late than never, but progress, and what that has done, because of course when, I had a bracket, it's not broken completely, but I won't talk about my bracket. But you know what, just how we love March Madness, and even just now allowing the women to have brackets and what that does to encourage people to talk more about the women's teams, to watch them. Now they're being covered, and this is the reality. People used to say, oh, women's sports, who's interested? Well, if you can't see it, you won't be. But when you see it, you realize, oh.
It's been on TV. It's not okay. Why is that the final straw for me? I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm holding back.
Do you know?
Oh, good. That was it. Okay, thank God I didn't cut anything off. Okay, hold on.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I just fell out of a coconut tree, Kamala. You just start this bullshit with me. They've had a women's tournament since 1982. So her entire
can't be true.
And she knows that because she filled out a tournament in 2021. Or if she didn't, there's a tweet where she's responding to her husband's women's tournament. Her husband posted his men's and women's brackets. And she was like, oh, you picked all number ones. I thought you liked number twos because she's the vice president. That's cute. Okay. But I'm thinking about number two jokes, but like she's fucking aware. So why is she lying about something so trivial? Like, also, I don't care because it's something so trivial, but it's just another, like, God damn it. Like, do you understand how fragile it is that nobody wants to vote for Joe because you're next in line?
Dude, so this is the first time I've seen this clip. And when I heard her say that, I was like, wait, that can't be right. I didn't even Google it. I was like, that's can't be.
Yeah. That's how I treated it. I was like, that can't be true. I'll hear about it. The right's going to talk about it. And then I heard things I double checked. And it's all true. Yeah. 1982 is when they first started it. Her husband's filled his out in 2021. She knows it. It's just
unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Biden had a really good clip. It's probably the best Biden clip we've had since the State of the Union. So at the State of the Union, we were like, "Oh fuck, Joe's back!" Like they put a new battery in, and he hasn't had a flub like this since before that day.
Unedited worker grants, fancy phrase, which is dimes. All it is there to make sure.
It sounds like an AI, like just gibberish, right? It sounds like when people that don't speak English say like words that they know, like Coca-Cola, baseball, and stuff. Like
It's okay to worker grants, fancy phrase, which is dimes. All it is there.
It's okay, worker grants, fancy phrase, dimes, all is there, right?
To make sure it helps create jobs for workers involved in the cleanup. It's okay to worker grants, fancy phrase, which is dimes. All it is there to make sure it helps create jobs for workers involved in the cleanup.
Oh, okay.
You know what? They clearly got this out of context, but man, he sort of sounds like a photo.
But
rolling around in my head.
I think what he's trying to.
Sorry, I keep hitting.
I think what he was trying to say was that's a fancy phrase for helping workers out, essentially. But he just kind of,
For God's sake, it's dumb.
It took me a minute to figure that out, though.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any other drops I want to play, so we'll move on. Oh my God. Did you see Hillary Clinton on Jimmy Fallon?
I think I did. I think I saw clips at least.
Yeah. Oh, it's a minute long. I can probably not play the whole damn thing. Not looking forward to listening to this.
We know that.
It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the.
That's good enough, right?
Wow.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the.
Yeah, Pokemon, go to the polls. This is just don't fucking let her talk. Like, why would anybody in the Democratic Party let her get anywhere near anything?
A microphone
that is like at all intended to get people out to vote for Joe Biden.
I mean, there's a reason that she had such a low likability score, obviously.
And a lot of it has to do with how well the right undermined her going into that with the Benghazi hearings, like all through 2013.
But also she says stuff like that.
Exactly. Like they didn't just pick someone out of nowhere. Like they were.
Oh my God.
They had plenty to work with. It's like Kamala, right? Like if they did that with Kamala, we'd be like, yeah, but she also makes shit up about the tournament. Like she's not a likable person. And when men do this, I don't like them either. And I resent the fact that I have to amend my statements with that. Like,
yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Jesus.
I know.
Get over yourself.
Get over yourself. Yeah.
There's things more important than you.
Can we just talk about a random Democrat? Oh, it's not available anymore. They pulled it. That sucks.
No. What was it?
It was some lady saying that the moon is mostly filled with gas.
What?
Apparently they deleted it. Damn it. Yeah, they were talking about the eclipse and they said the moon's mostly filled with gas.
The moon's a gas giant, like Jupiter.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it.
On it. Okay. It's fine.
That's hilarious.
It's another battle in the culture wars. Oh, not the culture wars. They're worried about a culture war. Culture wars. Stop with the culture wars.
This is Harris Alterman. Harris Alterman works for one of those late night shows. He's a great writer. This is, I don't know if it's a bit on those shows. I don't watch those shows no more, but when it shows up, I like to follow. I highly recommend following the Harris Alterman. It is solid alt comedy.
Still necessary?
I think we still need. So it's a group of gay guys, gay versus liberal conservatives. Gay liberals versus gay conservatives. Asked, is pride still necessary?
Need pride, but in its current form, it's just too overly sexualized.
Well, I think we need to ask ourselves, why is society so afraid to talk about sex?
I think we need pride still because people don't see the full me.
Okay, so far it's been liberal conservative stereotype voters, but this guy's dressed as a scarecrow.
Yeah, he looks like he's playing a D&D game right now.
Oh, he just keeps crows away from corn all day. But I'm a multi-dimensional scarecrow. I'm a gay scarecrow. I'm the child of gay scarecrows from El Salvador. I like to play D&D. I'm a nerdy scarecrow.
Aren't you worried that people are just going to see you as, oh, he's going to turn my kids into gay scarecrows?
We need to educate people that the only way you get turned into a gay scarecrow is by a gay wizard who specializes in that.
But even
the gay wizard,
that's not nuanced. I mean, you can get turned into a gay scarecrow from a gay warlock, a gay druid, a gay genie.
You mean just a genie?
Seriously. And pride feels so corporate now. It's like, oh, you're going to hang a rainbow flag outside of Gringotts? Thanks for the performative allyship.
Gringotts.
Is pride...
How did I call the D&D shit? I've never seen this
She
clip.
did nail that. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, that's just to get us into the culture wars a little.
Yes,
bit.
yes.
Just to
Thanks,
dip our
Thrash, for that intro, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. That wasn't but that intro, yes. This is a little bit more on the culture wars. What's my note here? Crime rates. So I think I sent you an article. Hopefully you get a chance to read it before. I put something in other news for you for Friday. Because we talk about how like there's a phone in everyone's pocket, so we see videos of violent crime all the time, and there certainly were spikes in it, but largely violent crimes dropped over the last few years,
right,
to a rate that's like lower since in like a decade, right, which spans multiple presidencies,
right.
And every time I share something about that, some of my more conservative fellow Instagramites tag me in things, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't feel like reading this. Mostly like I'm at work, I'm not like,
sure.
But I finally realized I was like, well, I better not like be in an echo chamber on this. Why don't I make Alan read this at me? So I'm going to play one of those clips that triggers those guys, and then if you can tell me what your input is on the articles that they send, we can talk about that on Friday.
Okay, sounds good.
I know the facts don't matter to Donald Trump, but crime rates keep dropping. The rate is lower now than when Donald Trump was in office, lower than it was in 2020, slightly lower than it was in Trump's best year, 2019. Murder rates over the past year in the big cities that he's constantly harping on, down 20%. Rapes down 16%. You can go down the list. On and on. The most serious crimes way down. They may not like it, but it's a fact. And that's how Trump extremists have gotten, and it's how cable news networks run. It's their business model, to lie about the facts, to twist and distort reality for viewers day in, day out, night in, night out. And when you talk about crime, it's not as low as I want it to be. That said, if you look at the numbers, Donald Trump is lying when he says crime rates are way up. They're not. They're down. They're lower than they were when he was president.
He has a really big head.
Yeah, this topic is interesting to me. I as you sort of set up in the preamble, I do believe that a lot of it is just based on the fact that it's in our face because we have social media and everybody has a phone, so they can take video of the homeless guy taking a shit in the middle of the street in San Francisco.
Yeah, but I've seen that right, but it's not like it happens literally. It happened to me once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
There's facing the street or pooping. Okay, never mind.
There's a YouTube channel called Channel 5 News. And I don't think I've talked about it on the show before.
We've talked about it.
Have we? Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny to me because when I show that to my conservative friends, they're always surprised. They're like, oh, I didn't know you had some conservative, bones in you. And I'm like, no, you're not getting the whole story here.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing what you want to see out of this video as opposed to what is actually happening and what he's saying.
He does a little bit of what we do, but like in a more professional and like news.
Well, and it's video it's
documentary style. But like what I mean by that is that like he'll talk about subjects that are outside of the echo chambers and in a way like
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's weird to think that the guy's conservative. I
don't think he is.
Yeah.
He's just willing to deal with.
That's what I was trying to say about
things
that.
head on, right? So yeah, it is interesting how our biases influence the way we deal with media, and it's just the way our brains work. We've been programmed evolutionally like that for thousands of years. So that's how.
And they know how to hijack that, and that's the whole beauty of the culture wars.
Yep.
So speaking of misinformation, this is Rogan and Destiny. This is that guy, Ryan Macbeth again, the real Ryan Macbeth. This time he's smoking a cigar. Look at that.
He likes smoking on camera.
Too.
Yeah.
I know. He's big into that, but he's Churchilling it with a long ash.
He is.
An interesting video popped up about Joe Rogan and the streamer Destiny, and Joe Rogan said,
he's so ridiculous. He does a Wikipedia search and then just starts going after things like he's an expert.
Yeah. People who live in glass houses, man. Joe Rogan is probably one of the biggest misinformation spreaders I've ever heard. Funny story, I actually stopped listening to Joe Rogan on February 6, 2023. I was getting an MRI for a labrum tear, and the technician asked me, do you want to listen to music? And I said, no, but you can put on Joe Rogan. So he puts on Strategic Geniuses, Crystal and Sagar. If you've ever had an MRI, you're stuck inside this machine. So for 20 minutes, I'm hearing these two misinform the public about military strategy in Ukraine. Oh yeah, those two are a real Patton and Bradley. Now, I've actually been on Destiny's podcast, and yeah, he does read the Wikipedia article. And because he read the article, he asks good questions, and he doesn't bring people on his show who misinform the public. An interesting video.
You can be wrong about what's on the wiki if that is like your information source where you tried to be like knowledgeable about the subject, right? But like, you know, it's for an interview. Like the person you're talking to will be like, where'd you hear that? That's not true. You know, like you hear that on interviews where people will do that and they're like, oh, I read the wiki, right?
Right. Well, that's fine. That's, of course, you know, that's how we have conversations.
Right.
I mean, when we have guests on the show, I Google the fuck out of this thing, out of who they are, so I know what's going on before I talk to them.
I just watch their socials.
Yeah, I'll know their batting average.
That's fine.
But yeah.
If you don't feel safe, get off the airplane.
That's true. You knew Richie Stojanko's batting average, didn't you? You're like, we finished that interview, and you're like, we were talking to him about like the George Floyd protests, and you're like, I didn't get to talk to him about baseball.
It's true.
Okay, this is a pilot meltdown. We're in the culture wars, right?
Okay.
So one of the things that's been going around in the culture wars is female pilots and dudes being triggered over it.
Well, Elon Musk started it, I think.
Did he? Okay. DEI.
Okay, if you don't feel safe, get off the airplane.
This is your captain speaking, but never like this.
I'll stop and we'll fly the airplane. Don't worry, I'm going to let my co-pilot fly it. He's a man. Okay?
It's a total meltdown. The pilot boarded in her street clothes and addressed the passengers over the intercom. Passenger Pam O'Neill couldn't believe what was happening.
She said, let's take a vote. How many of you would like to take off now with me dressed as I am, or would you prefer that I take 10 minutes to get changed into my cute little uniform? Then she started talking about her divorce and political candidates, and the minute she mentioned that, a gentleman stood up and just yelled, whoa, enough, you're scaring me.
Another passenger, Randy Reese, got up to leave and gave a running commentary on social media. Pilot also insulted a couple on board.
Did I offend you? Okay, so did I purposely offend you? I did. The answer is yes. Flight attendants, please disarm doors.
After 20 passengers insisted on getting off the United Airlines flight, the pilot quietly left the aircraft.
Okay, if you don't feel safe, get off the airplane.
Dude. Could you imagine having flight anxiety and being like, I can't let a human be flying this thing right now. Like, bring the robot pilots. Like,
I mean, she sounded unhinged in that clip, but that's pretty. I wouldn't want to be on that plane either.
Yeah.
But I mean, so at the root of this, though, is so in that interview that Don Lemon did with Elon Musk, where Elon essentially just walked off at the end and pissed off and
you watch more of that?
Yeah. So DEI comes up because Elon had a tweet where he said people are dying because of DEI, because we're letting unqualified people into medical schools, unqualified people fly planes. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he quote tweeted and said. And so when Lemon asks him about that, he like refuses to actually engage on the topic. So Lemon says, hey, so you said this. Do you have evidence of this actually happening? Are there?
And that was when he kept going back to like the comment section will tell you the reality of this.
Right. And so he was like, no, I don't have, but it could happen. It's like, well, that's not what you said. You said it is happening.
Right. People are dying. I mean, that's the same thing as like, because like he talks about people being hysterical during the pandemic, and the whole thing was like, people will die, right? Like this is just another version of that, right?
It is absolutely
just scare tactics, right?
It's disappointing.
Well, this next clip is about DEI too. This is Ken Paxton, the Attorney General for Texas.
That guy.
Yeah, the guy that had like a decade-long lawsuit about insider trading or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just got dismissed. It's just fine. It's fine.
in planes. Well, good news. Texas AG Ken Paxton has opened an investigation to one of Boeing's parts suppliers, Spirit Aerosystems Holdings, Inc., following issues with certain aircraft parts. Now,
Yeah, but like that door plug, they said that's like 100% not on Spirit. That was on Spirit's the company that makes like the fuselage and like delivers a lot of the part, like the large sections of the planes to Boeing, I believe, to be assembled. I believe. Greg,
But Boeing was using parts they knew to be faulty.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so they're both Spider-Man pointing at each other, right?
Sure.
So Ken Paxton found out that Spirit Aerosystems has had a DEI program. So he's saying that they hired too many black people and that's why they're making bad planes.
the company will need to disclose its employees' demographics before and after a race-based employment practice was put in place, known as a DEI policy. Now, Paxton has requested that Spirit provide any communications to its investors in which disclose the issues regarding the misdrilled at-pressure bulkhead holes defect in Spirit's products. Now, Paxton said the potential risks associated with certain airplane models are deeply concerning and potentially a life-threatening to Texans.
I wish she'd put the words in front of the camera instead of looking to the side as she reads. Like, it's really distracting.
It is a little distracting. Yeah.
He also said, I will hold any company responsible if they fail to maintain the standards required by law and will do everything in my power to ensure manufacturers take passengers safely. Seriously, isn't this something Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg should be saying? And why hasn't he? Makes you wonder.
Probably because he's a DEI hire, right, Alan?
God damn it, dude.
Yeah. So I have I kind of hinted at it earlier when I was talking about like just buy one more electric car, like the whole scam they pulled on the public when they said like all of climate change responsibility should just be on the consumer, when we've always known it was industry causing.
You just have to recycle harder, people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You just need to sort it. You need to get your own separate bins. Just
Rinse
do it
out-
for
rinse
us,
out the
please.
bottle.
It's too hard for us. That's a dirty bottle. I can't recycle that. No, you cannot do that, Donald. I bet that's the way the talk was. I
It
lost
was.
that clip. Nima sent me a
definitely
clip
was.
of the context of it, I think. Someone
Oh,
sent me
no.
the full context. I got distracted before I pasted it into the show sheet. Send it again, please. So in that same way where the companies are trying to like off-put their responsibility onto the public, right?
Sure. Yeah.
They are, I think I have a theory that these CEOs or like the C-suites in general in all these corporations or the ownership groups in these industries are they're probably secretly behind DEI as a boogeyman because it's expensive to implement a DEI policy. And it's now causing stress and growing pains with staff and now culture war topics. And if we focus on that, nobody's going to pay attention to the real issue, which is faulty manufacturing because they're maximizing profits over safety.
It's only a distraction. I see what you're saying.
They're like, oh, they want to talk about this? Yeah, why don't you look at the books? Oh my God, did we hire too many black people? Are you saying we need to fire, this whole wing of our staff that's in charge of doing this? Actually, that'd be great for me because I wouldn't have to go to meetings every 5 fucking minutes. So like, yeah, actually don't mind you blaming DEI on this. And I'm going to go back to making bad equipment that falls out of the sky because money printer goes burr.
Goes burr. Indeed. Goes burr indeed.
Well, do you think that I'm crazy for that one?
No, I don't actually. I could certainly see.
It makes more sense than that guy that took over for Tucker that said, Jesse Waters said they're intentionally implementing DEI so that they kill people, so that people fly less, so that it'll have a green initiatives. I think my theory is a lot more plausible.
It's cynical but plausible, yes.
Yeah, compared to him, I'm the cynical one.
No, not compared to him. Yeah.
Hey, Alan.
Yes.
Would you say you keep it 100?
I mean, that depends on what we're talking about keeping.
Are you afraid that I'm setting you up? Why would you be so? Why are you so nervous?
Do I sound nervous? I'm not nervous.
You sound anxious. You're like,
Oh.
why is that? Sounds like the way I ask you when I ask you a multiple choice question. Or C has a funny answer.
Did not see that coming.
You keep it 100, Alan.
Sure. I always keep it 100.
Dig it. I knew it. So remember last week when I said you want to play a game and we'll see how anti-Semitic you are?
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Yes,
One of the questions that was all, the whole thing was inspired because I had heard that. Did you know the number 100 is racist?
No, I did not know that.
Well, that took me down a rabbit hole of all the numbers that are termed anti-Semitic by the ADL. So you can just go to a search tab of ADL and type in any number you want, and there's a reason why it's a racist number or an anti-Semitic number.
Really?
Yes, but here you go. So can't say keep it 100. You can't say 100%. None of that no more.
Tonight on Everything is Racist.
I'm pretty sure that's gut filled, and I'm sorry for it.
The phrase 100%. Donald Trump Jr. recently called out the Anti-Defamation League for including 100% in its list of terms related to hate and extremism. According to the ADL, 100% can be shorthand for 100% white.
And you a whole word.
If that's true, I've been surrounded by white supremacists for years.
But it's 100% about the gift. 100%. 100%.
100%.
100%.
You right now. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
When you hear 100%, I don't want to listen to Gutfeld anymore. When you hear 100%, you think of one person, right?
I mean, I think of math.
I think of Bert Kreischer going 100%.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
I think of math.
I mean, how could numbers aren't racist? I'm sorry.
It's a good point, Alan. Well, why do you have that 88 tattoo on your neck? Yeah, we'll still do that though. I have that saved. Although Thrash came up with a couple of good new games. Do you
Oh,
want
fun. Yeah. Tell me.
So it's in the vein of Carp or Narp.
Oh, okay.
It is Ray or Nay. You'd
Like
be
a-
surprised how many things look like a ray that aren't actually the type of like a stingray.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
so
would
it's
be fun.
Ray or Nay, Trout or Doubt,
I like that too.
Wacky or Kakalaki. He gives three things that are like natively Carolinian, and you have to pick which one he made up.
Oh,
I'm really looking forward to that. I said I need you to give me as many examples of that. as you
These
can.
sound really fun.
Yeah, but
My-
Ray or Nay and Trout or Doubt, that could be fun.
My favorite Carper Narb was when we played with Fritz. That was
I know. He's like, I know Carper Nard.
that was so fun, dude.
He was the Creek Chub, remember?
Yep, I do.
Oh
God.
I'm on the wrong page.
That was so fun.
I'm lost. Pad for me, Alan. I'm trying to find where we are. Oh,
Okay. Listeners, if you're new to the program and you haven't heard the episode with us and Fritz, go find it in our
episode
archives. 300.
300.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude.
Time
that guy.
capsule episode. Alan's neighbor fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
He's okay, right?
He's fine, yeah.
Does he have a limp or anything now? Or
No, he's totally good. He's totally good. I saw him yesterday.
All right. What's his name? Donald?
James.
Donald was James, but on TMOS, right? That was Oscar's neighbor, was Donald.
Yes.
Oscar. Yeah.
He would fold his laundry for him.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Man, I miss Big O.
I feel like we brought up that Fritz episode last week too. So
I think we did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to cut it. Just go
Yeah.
listen to that episode. If you're new,
Do it.
like,
Do
go
it.
check it out. Try it
Do
out.
it. Do it.
I got a clip to end the culture wars.
Okay.
Not like end them in general. To end it.
Just end on the show. Yeah.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, I got a question there.
Norm Macdonald. So
Yeah.
there's like a whole mob of people, and they're gonna go chase after some guy. I don't know the context. Who cares? So Norm Macdonald's showing up in the middle of this whole angry mob, and he's
Right.
got a lit pitchfork.
When do we get to light our torches?
When it gets dark.
I see. Oh, hey, I got another question there. Suppose, hypothetically, a guy had already lit his torch. I mean, it'd be cool if he could just keep it lit, huh?
Yes.
Excellent.
Now, if there are no more questions.
Hey, I got another question. Hey, if one part of the mob gets separated from another part of the mob, shouldn't there be a place that we could get together, maybe a secret place? The two mobs could reunite and we'd be a big mob again.
Stay with the mob.
Stay with the mob. All right.
Right.
Hey, I got another question. Hey, doesn't this guy deserve a fair trial?
You, back of the mob.
Back of the mob? What? This is my spot. I came early.
Okay, out of the mob. Shoot to kill.
Norm Macdonald is just so funny. I can't.
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
just
get over it.
inherently just
Yeah.
talking about anything.
Yeah. One more question.
Hey, just the way he goes, hey. Even in Dirty Work, that scene where he goes to prison, right? Or jail, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Dirty Work. Yeah.
It's implied that he's sexually assaulted in jail.
Yes.
And the real recording, so if anybody who's seen Dirty Work, they know that part when he gets bailed out and he's like, you know what hurts the most is the lack of respect. The lack of respect hurts the most. That's hilarious. That was dubbed over because the studio wouldn't let them play what he originally said, which was, you know what hurts the most is that anal rape. And they just put lack of respect. And if you look at my mouth, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it looks the same as lack of respect. Like they just they did ADR for it. Like and
That's
just but
hilarious.
lack of respect is hilarious. Like that was still really funny. You did the best with that, you know. I'm forgetting, I guess. Okay, so I don't have any more clips for you. I think I'll ask you a question. I had a thought Ryan sent in.
Okay.
He was listening to a podcast that said the 2024 election is like the dentist versus gum disease. How do you feel about the dentist? Most people don't like him, but they realize the importance of going. And then how do you feel about gum disease? Generally worse than the dentist. Loadmaster had a point. He said, yeah, but like, you know, the dentist is usually like good at their job and like you want to see the dentist.
Yeah, I think you picked the dentist if those are your options there.
Yeah, I know, but I wouldn't call Joe Biden a dentist is what I was trying to say. Right?
Maybe Jill is, you know.
No, Dr. Jill. Good point, Alan. Yes.
You get that white coat on. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Get the 3 shades lighter. I guess I ask you a question and we'll get out of here.
Sure.
Next time I hear somebody say they're an alpha, I'm going to call them a furry. Sorry, it wasn't a question.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Thank you, Alan. I thought it was a good point. Look, a normal length show. This was very fine.
Oh, how about that? Isn't that something?
All right. Drive safe, buddy.
Cheers. That was fun. See
Cheers.
you in a couple days.
All right.